All right. Howdy, everyone. Welcome to the Hivemind Radio Recap podcast for November 2020. We are down to the end of this year. Kind of crazy. There's only 1 month left to 2 months left to discuss because we still have to discuss November. But
I was gonna say 2 months. Wait, hold on.
Is November that forgettable? Don't answer that. We still have
moving
Don't
on.
answer that. We still have 2.5 hours to clear up.
Real talk, fellas. Did this month go by really quickly for anybody else?
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like I felt like this year in general, right? Every day goes by really slowly, and then the week goes by really fast, and you're wondering where it went. So it's been like the slowest and fastest year of all time.
Right.
But I felt that like this year or this month in general felt really fast. Like it just came and went.
Yeah.
Speaking of this month, you're going to get a lot of Hivemind Radio because we've got a shit ton of products planned. Well, not products, but casts planned.
Yeah.
So I believe
Facts.
next week is going to be the other awards episode.
Yes,
Possibly
the first
next
one.
week, right?
Yeah.
Is
Potentially.
it's not
Are we?
decided.
Yeah, it's not decided yet. But
Coming soon, TM.
The tentative
Exactly.
plan is next week. Pay attention to our social medias for the actual episodes. But we're going to have one separate episode that just goes over most disappointing album of the year, most improved album, top 2 EPs, the Patent Pending Solence Award, which is worst song album EP lyric ? And the top 5 singles. And then we have top 10 episode come probably whenever.
Later, yeah. So
Yeah, that'd probably be
to
like
sum
a week
that up in
after.
short, we have 2 end of year awards episodes coming out sometime in December. One of which is going to be going over the top 10 albums of 2020 for all 4 of us. So potentially 40 different albums in one episode.
Doubtful.
Doubtful.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then there's another episode for just a bunch of other awards for like bands that we want to make note of that did cool things this year, but that
not
aren't
cool.
out.
Or not so, yeah, I was gonna say or not
Or
so
not
cool
so cool.
things.
Or Solence.
Yeah. So look forward to that. That's going to be coming up. I'm personally really excited for those.
Yeah.
Now that we're recording this on December 4th, which is like the last like major release day of this entire year. I mean, there's going to be a couple singles coming out for the rest of the month for sure, which is going to give us quite an enjoyable December recap to film in a month's time from now. But overall, I'm pretty excited to figure out my top 10 albums and my top songs and stuff like that, because like it's all really up in the air for me, and I assume it probably is for you guys too.
Yeah.
I've already decided my like tentative top 10 albums at the very least. It's the other list which I'm not sure on.
Yeah. EPs for me are gonna be really easy. I think songs are gonna be hard, and then I've still got I've made my tentative top 10 for albums and the 2 runner-ups or whatever. But I've got 13 albums to listen to still, and then 50 to revisit. So it's gonna be a very interesting next 2 weeks here as I scramble to figure out what my top 10 is. Because I've only got like 4 spots that aren't locked in, so it's just gonna be 50 albums cycling through those 4 spots. So we'll see how
That's fair.
how that one goes. But
Good luck.
Yeah, no.
Try
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
keyword try to have fun.
no, I will. This award season is my favorite time of year. I love seeing everybody's like end of year lists and making my own. And I mean, I really got into it last year, and so I'm hoping that this year too, with all 4 of us together, we can do something. Because like last year, we all made our like top 10 or whatever, but we didn't really go anywhere with it outside of our own little discussion. So it's gonna be neat to have something where we're all together able to discuss it over voice rather
I
than
just
in the
want to give a
Discord.
little teaser for me. When we're discussing our top 5 songs, out of every song that I have heard this year, the song that I'm tentatively placing as my number 1 would not even make my top 10 of last year.
Ah, I have called
That-
2 songs
that
my
is
favorite of
very
this year.
rude to 2020.
Yeah,
The thing is, when it comes to albums, it's a completely different story.
I really
Like-
think 2019 was like one of the better years for music, and 2020 was just kind of because a lot of the good albums are getting put off till next year. Like
That's
fucking
true.
like Siamese are releasing next year, or Normandy. Like, there's a lot of good bands that are
Yeah.
releasing next year.
We'll get into that throughout the episode, but there's a lot of good shit already coming up in 2021.
Oh god, yes.
So y'all want to start talking about some music?
Yeah.
No, I actually just wanted to talk about the next couple episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Can we talk about the bonus episodes for like another 20 minutes and then leave?
I mean, okay.
Yeah, so No. I'm down to start talking about some music.
Before we do so, follow us on social media to keep up with all this fun stuff and content that we have planned for the next couple of weeks. Whether you're new here, or if you've been here for a couple months, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully,
Nice.
so follow on Instagram and Twitter at HIVEMINDRadio_, at HIVEMIND on YouTube. And then Hivemind Radio Recap on Spotify, if you're not listening to this podcast on Spotify. Without further ado, let's get started with the singles for this month, starting with Rivals and their first single in over a year, Lavenders. I have been waiting for this one for a long time.
Yeah, this is a band that I've known about since Damned Soul came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've just gotten better since that album. I think that a lot of the stuff that they've released, this included, surpass a lot of their older material. And I can't remember, was it Thunderstorm that we mentioned that this band sounded like Paris?
I think so, yeah. Thunderstorm, that was just a random single they released last year. Which was solid.
Really sounds like Paris. Like, really, really, really sounds like Paris. Like something off of White Noise.
I have not listened to much of Paris, so I cannot comment here.
You could close your eyes and throw a dart at any song off that album, and it sounds exactly like this. Which is much of a dig as it sounds like. It's honestly a compliment because Paris's discography is like nearly flawless, I feel like, and this is just as good, if not better.
This is definitely a great song, but I still regard Damned Souls as like in contention for one of my top 10 albums of just all time.
Ooh,
Should also mention a comparison to Viveris. Yeah,
Mother.
I went there.
oh my god.
I absolutely adored
Paris.
Damned Souls.
Has 1.5 million monthly listeners, and Rivals is about to hit 100K.
Yeah, they've
Good for them.
I think they were hovering around like 50K, so they definitely got some good publicity off of this song. And
Right.
the one that they released yesterday, which we aren't talking about, but
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. But yeah, I really enjoyed Lavenders. I don't think it stuck with me as long as I hoped it would. But I think in part it's also just like how highly I regard Damned Souls and a lot of the material off of that album. I found that album the week that Disguised by Motionless in White came out, and that was my second favorite album of 2019, and I think I would argue that I listened to Damned Souls more.
Yeah.
So I absolutely adored Damned Souls, one of my favorite female vocalists of bands that I listen to. Like, whenever I think of female vocalists, it's like Amaranth, Dream State, Rivals are right up there. I'm totally on board with this, and as we mentioned before we started talking about this song, 2021 got some heat coming, and I would be surprised to not see this in contention for my top 10 next year.
Yeah, so this is the lead single off of that upcoming album come 2021, and they've got 2 singles out.
And I believe the album name has actually been teased, but I don't know if that's supposed to be public information, so I'm not going to mention it.
Facts. Oh no, you got to drop it. It could be a "you heard it here first" sort of thing.
No, all you have to do is go to their latest music video, and it's just in like you know how YouTube, it's like music in this video, and it tells you like the details on like the publisher and stuff.
Yes. Like at the bottom of the description?
Yeah. The album name is there if you want to go find it. Go on a scavenger hunt yourself.
Or I could type Rivals into the Discord.
How about you do exactly what Jake said and give them more views?
Exactly.
Oh, facts.
Exactly.
Facts. Yo, my bad. I was thinking too much about our views and not their views.
That's fair.
Yeah, Rivals are a great band. Highly recommend.
Absolutely.
I think we're good to move on to let's talk about As Everything Unfolds and their song called Take Me There. Another female-fronted band that I want to talk about here. We were going to talk about them in September, and then September just decided to be insane, so we had to cut it.
Yeah,
But
so much
this
music.
band came out of fucking nowhere from Justin. You were the one that put me onto this band.
I'm so sorry and not
This
sorry at
band
the same time.
has not missed. This band is great. I am I'm in love.
They do have an album coming
They
out
do.
next year.
If I'm not mistaken, it's called "Within Each Lies the Other," which is it's a neat album name. I don't know how else to describe it, but
It's coming out in March next year.
It's got some fun wordplay in that album, like within each other, within each lies the other. I don't know. I think it's cool. But this song is incredible. Reminds me very heavily of Dream State, but heavier. And Dream State are amazing. So I don't think I could compare this band to Dream State like on the same level. But there's a lot of talent in this band. The vocalist is incredibly talented. She can do the cleans and the harsher vocals very well. Particularly in the breakdown of this song, where you have question and defy into the breakdown that hits hard as fuck.
Mhm.
And it's just a really enjoyable song.
Yeah, the Uncleans actually kind of reminded me a little bit of I forget her name, but the vocalist from In This Moment, when she hits some of her harsher vocals. But yeah, no, definitely, I agree entirely that it's always interesting to me to see bands fronted by people who do both the cleans and uncleans, especially as well as this.
Yeah,
it's like how did you like win the lottery to be that talented? Like they won the gene lottery. That's all it is. It's like, dude, if I had a fraction of that talent, instead I'm just yelling "bleh" in the shower. Yeah, no,
I also do want to
absolutely
spend a
great
little bit of time highlighting the instrumentals, because like the vocalist is talented, but instrumentally the song is just as great.
Oh, they're a 6-piece. I didn't realize that.
Oh damn, okay.
And they're from the UK, so right
Of
up there with
course,
Dream State.
everyone over the seas always gets the good stuff.
It's true.
Facts. If we get another tour like the Normandy Captives 1000 Below thing that doesn't come over here with like these guys, Dream State and somebody else, oh man,
Look,
that'd be rough. Just pain.
Look,
Pain.
I'm just gonna say, like, if we ever hit the big time, we're starting a fund so we can all go to the UK and just at least see one of those.
Exactly.
Hey, we
Some
still need to go to
European
Sweden
tour.
as well.
Oh yeah.
For some reason,
And then we're going to Australia.
the
Yo,
HIVEMIND World Tour, baby.
I was just about to say. Oh man, this band fans also like "And Is Okay" and Rivals, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is like a combination of "And Is Okay" and Rivals?
I don't
you?
know. I don't know if I,
I
would
wouldn't
go
say
for
Rivals.
that. I think there's
No, I don't-
elements
I don't-
of Rivals. I don't know about Anna's Okay though. That's kind of a. There's a bit of a gap between the two.
I'm not familiar with. Well, I know a few songs from each of those bands, and I wouldn't say no. I would say no.
No, I think it's interesting that like we just got done talking about Rivals, and then this band is something. I don't know if you found them through that, but we've got that connection. A band that has nothing to do with As Everything Unfolds is Hostile Array, with their new song out called Devil. And
So
I believe I was just about to say, I think this is a song you found, right?
Yeah, so this is a band both Jake and I kind of found last year, was it?
Yeah,
Like I
with
forget
their
how
song,
far into last year. We found them off
later
of
in the last year,
Paranoid.
Yeah. Paranoia. I thought it was Paranoia, not Paranoia.
Paranoia, whatever. It's one of those two. So yeah, this band, they were quiet for a bit and then just kind of released this song. I'm not big on it. It's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, there's definitely some talent in this band, but I think this song is lacking a lot of what made Paranoia cling to me when I first discovered them.
I think the issue is that Derek said this before the podcast, but a lot of the singles that are like in this actual month just sound like other songs, and there isn't really anything that separates this from another band.
Yeah, I think for me, it's that a lot of we got a surprising amount of material for November, especially because what we thought was going to be slated versus what actually ended up coming out was definitely more than I think we expected. A lot of the bands we're going to be talking about are all good, but a lot of the music sounds like every song I hear on, say, Dreambound, where I open the video, I listen to the song, I say, oh, this is a neat, smaller band. They've got potential. They're going to go places. This song's good, but it's not my favorite. And I move on with my day. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I felt about this song. And it's not like, it sounds really bad to say that, but it's less of a dig than I intend it to be. It's just that I think that a lot of these smaller bands show a lot of promise, but right now these singles aren't setting them out from the rest of the pack. They're just following in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, especially because this is kind of it's not really generic, but it's kind of a mixture of electronic meets modern rock. And I feel like his vocals, I don't know the vocalist's name off the top of my head, I feel like his vocals kind of blend to the song more than they really should.
I feel like that's a good way to describe it.
I feel like if his vocals stood out more.
The vocals in Paranoia were a lot more powerful, whereas I feel like they're not monotone, but they feel a little bit toned down in this song. Same with the instrumentals. Kind of
a little bit of the issue we have with some Citizen Soldier stuff.
Mm.
That's all I got, though.
Yeah, this band has promise. This song isn't the most amazing, but definitely a band that I'm going to keep my eye on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All the bands that we talk about that are smaller, that we may not be as high on, or some of us are high on, whatever, they're all good bands with a lot of potential. I'm just waiting for that single to blow me away.
Or else we wouldn't talk about them already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we good or bad, we recommend you check out every band on here because, it's always good to show younger bands, smaller bands some support.
If we speak negatively about bands on this show, it's because we like their other material.
Oh yeah, of course, and you'll absolutely find something you'll like. Speaking of smaller bands, I don't really know how small both of these next two bands are, but they're not really well known to us. I found these next two bands that we're going to be talking about.
Three,
one of them, three, three, I guess. Starting off with Affiance's single "Lost and Forgotten."
I did a little bit of research into this band just to figure out who they were. They went on hiatus for like 2 years and now they're back, apparently. I don't know why they went on hiatus, but they were on hiatus and now they're back. And this sounds pretty solid.
I say small. They have 4 albums to their discography, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, they're sitting at 86,000 on Spotify. I'm looking at their fans also like, and I'm looking at Phineas, This or the Apocalypse, Era, I Am Abomination, Texas in July, and honestly, all of that makes sense.
It sounds it's genty.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Diet Era, right? Like,
Diet Era.
Or great value brand. It's like Walmart brand Era.
I was gonna say
it's not a bad thing.
A hybrid of like gent and metalcore instrumentals with just clean vocals throughout the entire thing, for the most part.
Which, in theory, sounds like a perfect song to me. I'm putting that one out there. I don't think that the song was entirely perfect, but it wasn't bad. I liked it. I thought it was good.
The guy's vocal range is solid.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Hits some higher notes, especially in the chorus. And yeah, I recommend checking this one out. I'm a sucker for bands that go for like harder instrumentals with clean vocals. In a vein of this, this one hasn't stuck the most, but it's definitely the type of music that I am all for. So I'm just gonna leave that out there.
Speaking of other songs, Justin here found we've got the next one, which is Sunbeam by Census, which is probably the one that I was highest on of these 4.
I think it's the same, yeah.
I found these guys off of my Discover Weekly this week, actually.
Ooh.
And for once, Discover Weekly coming in, saving the week. Because otherwise,
Weekly coming in hot with a banger right here.
yeah, I found them through the song "The More You Pour," which was pretty catchy. And then when I got to this first listen, I didn't really think too much of it. I thought the instrumentals were really good, but otherwise, just kind of meh. And then I listened to this and then the music video, and I feel like I got it then. And it's really just a really good song.
Before we go any further, I just want to catch everyone's attention. If you aren't interested in this song based off of the little teaser that I had in post or whatever, this is the closest that I have heard to a Ground Dweller era Hands Like Houses that I think I've ever heard.
Huh.
I don't know how you can say it when Valiant Hearts Odyssey exists.
Okay, maybe, but like
I was
this,
about to say.
but like this sounds very like the moment that you sent the song to me, I'm like, this sounds like something off of Ground Dweller era Hands Like Houses.
I can
made
see that.
connection.
I can see that.
I'm not too big on Hands Like Houses, but I would say no.
Maybe I'm wrong here, but like,
Thank you for your contribution, Jake.
Instrumentally, this like hugely sounded like something off of Ground Dweller era from them.
The album art looks like Valiant Hearts.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
Valiant Hearts. Like the album art's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't picked up on that. Now I'm curious. I'm have to go back and re-listen. And see if
not another listen to Ground Dweller. Oh no.
The big thing that I think reminded me of Ground Dweller was the guitar work on this song.
Yeah, I agree.
Which was stellar all the way throughout.
Yo, Trent Woodley, if you're listening, I want remastered Ground Dweller, please.
Didn't they tease that though?
No,
I thought he did.
No, it was me wanting desperately to have it, and I mentioned that when I was at their VIP when I went down to North Carolina to see him with Emarosa, I think 2 years ago. Somebody brought it up where they were like, "Hey, why don't you play any songs off Ground Dweller?" And they're like, "Oh, well, they don't sound good live. Maybe on like a 10-year tour or like a 10-year anniversary. So maybe we get a remastered sort of thing then. I don't know. I
feel like that might have happened if this year didn't shit the bed.
Yeah, well, I feel like they're trying to move away from that style too. So
yeah.
I mean, we're not going to talk about it because we talked about it last month. Yeah, go listen to EP.
Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about it next week too. Just as putting that one out there.
That's right. That's right. You're going to give it the Solus Award. That's right.
Hey, no.
Anyway, Census Sunbeam, highly recommend you go check this out. Moving on. Justin.
Yeah, we got a. Oh no, Justin, take it away.
Do I? Okay.
You found this.
All caps leave. Period gives us Aurelia.
I remember you being pretty high on this one when it came out.
Yeah, so this is another band I listened to prior to, I believe, showing you guys. I listened to the song Absence, which has been in my playlist for the longest time. And then they finally come back with the song called Aurelia, and it's pretty good. If I had to rank it between the three ones we were talking about, not to group all these bands because they're kind of different, but I'd say this is probably like middle of the road for me. Especially after just some time to kind of, let it sit. This band has a lot of potential, and the slower stuff is what I kind of like from them. But I'd still recommend also checking out Absence, but this song as well is pretty good.
The thing that stood out to me, I was not entirely of sound mind the first time I went to this band's Spotify page. And I clicked on their thing and just saw leave in all caps of the period, and I was like, am I in a fever dream? Like, this is such a threatening aura. Like, what is going on? But
that's funny.
As intimidating as their Spotify page is with the bold leave staring you in the face, it's well worth going because I thought the song was pretty good. Especially for only having, 6,000-7,000 monthly listeners, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
7,000. It's good. I think that it's always interesting to me to hear bands that are smaller like this have better mixing and production than some of the larger bands I listen to.
Mhm.
You know, it's like it's things like that for smaller bands that really make me think like, oh, this band definitely has potential to be one of the next big things, or at least to get bigger in the next few years.
I think something interesting off of that note. The new screamer vocalist in Anna's Okay used to be a part of this band.
Yep.
Huh.
So like their first couple singles were with,
and then
that new
he
vocalist.
had
And
to
then-
leave.
Yes.
Period.
Damn it!
Oh,
It took me a second. I thought you were saying period, like, oh, that's it, and I'm like, oh, we're like really enunciating his leaving, huh? And then I look like, oh, yeah, I'm a little slow tonight, fellas. My bad.
Are you being dragged under?
No, stop.
yeah, I'm gonna stop
That's
it there because I have one
That's
more
it,
thing I
I'm
want to
done.
say about
I'm
this
done.
song. I think it's great to see that the guy that is now in And Is Okay is getting the spotlight, because that band has grown on me a bunch this year.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that And Is Okay recruited from this band is worth mentioning to show that like the talent is here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with only 5 singles, like there's only another band that I'm gonna be hitting on. My boys, you guys already know them, but we're gonna hit them on again this month. That shows much potential, and this band really does show a lot.
To play off of Justin's god awful pun from 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
How we feeling about this new Christmas song from Dragged Under entitled "This Holiday"?
I thought you were gonna make a different transition there.
I
What?
think
It's
so
the
too.
next song in the playlist.
No, what
I completely forgot it was a Christmas song.
No, well, you said I'm gonna transition over into this Christmas song. I thought you were gonna say just transition into This Holiday by Dragged Under, and not just like
Oh,
like you totally could have just made it like so much smoother.
no.
You know?
Yo,
Like,
stop.
Yo,
Don't
it's
embarrass
a
me.
shorter month. We gotta fill the time.
Exactly.
True.
Look, if people aren't listening to 3 hours, they're not doing it right, okay?
No. If we're not making Jake work harder to cut this down.
Exactly.
Pain.
So I think this might be the first Christmas song I've ever enjoyed.
This is definitely one of them.
Merry Xmas, what the fuck?
I mean,
I guess I need to take my Santa hat off for my profile picture because I am really such a Scrooge. I hate Christmas. I'm so sorry. I can't get. I think it stemmed from working retail. When you have to hear the same
if you
Christmas
work
songs
retail,
over and over again, it ruins the
that.
holiday for you. Yeah, if I have to, hearing Grandma got run over by a reindeer every 30 minutes is really one of the most excruciating experiences you can undergo. Second only to listening to Solence. So no, I'm playing. Nah, this holiday, it wasn't what I was expecting.
Oh,
I was expecting something a little bit more like upbeat and festive, and not like whatever this one. I don't even know how to describe it. There's a song that's very similar. Hold on, you keep going. I'm gonna try and find the song this reminds me of.
It's Christmas for depressed teenagers that are locked up in their room and don't want to see their family.
Let's see here.
That was an awkward silence. Well,
Let's
it's
see.
true. I don't have the lyrics. But at the end of the chorus, it's like, "Shut up, get the hell away from me," or something like that.
Yeah, so there's a song called "Pray for You" by Jaron Lowenstein, and it's talking about like how it's the Christmas season, so they're gonna forgive their like ex, and the chorus is, "I pray your brakes go out running down a hill. I pray a flower pot falls from a windowsill and knocks you in the head like I'd like to. I pray your birthday comes and nobody calls. I pray you're flying high when your engine stalls. I pray all your dreams never come true. Just know wherever you are, I pray for you. And I feel like that's the energy this song exudes. It's like it's like a Christmas song, but it's not happy and festive. It's just I'm depressed and hate the world.
It's like the Landon tours. I hope you have a shitty Christmas.
Exactly.
I just want to take mention of one lyric in particular. Rudolph, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Rudolph, fuck off.
Frosty
lyric of the year
is melting.
There's one where he talks about like stuffing coal up an elf's ass or something. Am I hallucinating that?
No, that sounds familiar to me. Yeah.
If that's not enough to get you to go listen to this song, I don't know what is. Honestly.
Yeah. I'm surprised they released this the day before their deluxe reissue of their debut album, The World Is In Your Way. And I'm surprised this is on that deluxe version of the album. In all honesty, I kind of thought this was just going to be a standalone single. But they threw it on there, and you know what? I can't entirely blame them, because it's a solid song. But it is kind of strange to just throw a random Christmas song at the end of an album. If that's worth anything.
I have got nothing else on this.
Anyway, Ocean's 8 Alaska are back.
They are
back. I don't know about...
The song's called Metamorph.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Metamorph by Ocean's 8 Alaska. So, James is back. After leaving the band for what, 2 album cycles? Was it 1 or 2?
He pulled a Danny Warsnoff.
Yeah, he dipped and then said, nah, y'all are better with me, and rolled back up. I wasn't sure how to feel about this initially, because Ocean's 8 Alaska is one of those bands that I much prefer for their instrumentals over their vocals. It took me a while to get into the chorus and like the clean vocals, but honestly, this is probably one of my favorite songs we're going to be talking about today. It's gotten to that point.
I had a feeling this would happen, where this would be a song that you guys are passionate about, and I almost have nothing to say.
You have to wait to hear what I have to say, okay?
So, hit me with it.
So when this came out,
okay,
I was like, this is awful.
Oh, okay.
And then I was re-listening to it yesterday for the recap, and I was like, wow, this is really good.
It's definitely a grower. I don't think I've heard anybody say that they like this song on first listen. Like really, really liked it. Like people have thought it was good, but it's definitely one of those songs where you have to keep listening to it to appreciate it.
I feel like that's the whole band, actually.
Yeah.
Ocean's 8 Alaska are like very technical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like a Born of Osiris, I guess, in that sense, where you're, at least personally for me, like it's one of those things where I'm more into the instrumentals than the vocals. And so in order to really appreciate the music, you kind of have to spend some time with it. I think something that was really interesting about this song is the way they incorporated like the electronic lo-fi at the start and end and at points in the background. I did when he hits that "Did You Miss Me" at the start in the middle of the chill intro. I was not expecting that, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay, here we go, it's happening, guys!" Like, I don't know.
As I teased you earlier, this song is I have that limit of how heavy I can tolerate, and this one was a little bit above that limit of heaviness that I can enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's kind of at that perfect level, and I was very much appreciative of the fact that we got new Ocean's 8 Alaska with James. Nothing against Jake. I almost like his clean vocals better than James's, but overall, I think that James is the better vocalist for this band. I'm very excited to see where it goes. Speaking of songs that might push Jake's heavy comfort level, we got a B-side from Blueprints by Wage War called Surrounded.
Five years later.
5 years later. Some speculation that this was not actually recorded at the time of Blueprints, that this was done. Yeah, exactly. People are saying this might have been recorded recently to like tantalize their older fans into coming back and listening to them after Pressure. But like, honestly, if that was the case, I don't know why they wouldn't just take this and make it like the lead single for the next album. So I think that this is a B-side, but I think this is a really good. This is one of my favorite Wage War songs, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I've spent a ton of time with this since it came out.
When it came out, I was like, it's okay. And then I moved on.
I was kind of the same.
I feel like...
But,
sorry.
I was kind of the same, but I can appreciate the instrumentals in the song. Instrumentally, the song is fantastic. All the guitar work, the drums are crazy. Vocally, it's definitely pushing that limit. It's not pushing it as much as Ocean's 8 Alaska did, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But I do think it's also that was my first exposure to Ocean's 8 Alaska, where I have a full album of Wage War under my belt at this point. So, I might just be more used to the Wage War sound.
I mean, I guess for me, I'm not actually a super big fan of Blueprints. I think that Deadweight is the superior album.
Yep, 100%.
But outside of the river, this would probably be, like I said, my favorite song off Blueprints. And like I said, one of my favorite in general. I don't know. This the Blueprints for me, Cody didn't quite have the proper grasp on his clean vocals.
Yeah.
The way he did, I guess, especially in Pressure, but even so in Deadweight.
Dude, and so literally, like, everything you're saying is like, I totally agree. Like, 100%.
This is the Hivemind at work.
This is the Hivemind. We're here.
This is the Hivemind at work.
I guess this was the least offender of those clean vocals not being quite as refined off that album. Like, don't get me wrong, Blueprints is a great album to like work out to, but if I'm going to pick an album to listen to by Wage War just in general, it's gonna be Deadweight every time, with the occasional songs from Pressure. But this was something that I found myself revisiting probably more than most other songs that came out this month. Just in general, I couldn't get enough of this. I think it's the perfect length, perfect structure. The way it flows, plays out, doesn't feel like it's what, like 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes? Yeah, 3.5. It doesn't feel that long, at least not to me. I don't know. So all speculation about the song aside, I think it's really good, and I definitely recommend it as a great old metalcore Wage War release. It is what it is. It's nothing like groundbreaking, right? But at this point, like I'll take anything like this from this band after what we got in Pressure. So
Foxblood, they got a new song called Ghosts and Bones. And
it's groovy.
This song is hella fucking groovy, dude. From the moment you start this song, the guitars are only coming in on the left ear, I'm pretty sure. It's only like coming in on the one ear, and then it comes in both ears, and the groove just does not stop. You are grooving throughout this entire song.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess comparisons would be Bones by Make Them Suffer or Floho by Issues. In the same sort of genty-ish groove.
I didn't draw that connection.
The connection I made was to Face the Facts by Anna's Okay from a couple months ago.
Oh, I remember drawing the same comparison to Floho for that song, so I guess that would make sense. I haven't spent much time with that Anna's Okay song, so I didn't really draw that at first, but now that you mention it, Yeah, Toby, I'd recommend going and re-listening and see if you draw that conclusion from the intro.
I'm listening to it now. I think you're just drawing from the name and Make Them Suffer. Ghost and Bones and Bones.
Look, it's that subtle message.
I do not like this song.
Oh. I will say that, like, outside of the instrumentals, I'm not super high on it. Foxblood has never been one of those bands that I've been able to get into. We're talking about one of those artists next. But it's one of those artists where their songs are good. I like them, but I don't love them. And I'm waiting for that one track to push me over to the edge where I can say, okay, I really like this band now. And this one was close, but I think it's something with the vocals, and I can't put my finger on it.
There's definitely something about the vocals. I think both in this single and the one from September, Nepotism.
I actually think it's the instrumentals for me.
Really? Yeah, so you were just entirely different than us. On what we're
The
feeling
hive
about
mind's not
it.
at work here.
Exactly, the duality of man.
Duality
Yeah,
of the hive.
I'm the imposter.
Exactly. Vote him out. Vote him out.
All four of us are going to be the imposter at one point or another in this episode.
Yeah. But, fellas, you know what we could say after we voted out the imposter?
We did it!
Yes, sir!
That's the
New
name
song.
of Yep. New song
Yeah,
by
it's
Grandson. New song by Grandson called "We Did It!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Better now, is it? Isn't. I'm gonna get away with it. I'm gonna be a winner.
So,
We
having-
like punctuation in this podcast.
yeah, there's... What was the one that we did, what was it, last month? You know what I'm talking about? Am I losing my mind? We had to put something at the end of, oh shit, am I...
It's on
Dude,
the
I'm
tip of
going
my
crazy.
tongue too.
I'm going crazy. What was it? All right, hold on. Yo,
Are you
Jake,
talking about the Bill Murray track?
No. Jake, tell me what you felt about this song. I'm going to the October recap and figuring this out.
All right, so this
Look at
is
the playlist.
this is single number 4 off of "Death of an Optimist," which is out now as we're recording this podcast. I'm gonna try and keep the spoilers from the album as a whole out of it, but I will say that once I figured out that this song followed the interlude at the middle of the album, I gained a new appreciation for this song. Because the main theme of this song is the idea of we did it, but we didn't. It's that voice in your head that's telling you to be positive, to be hopeful, and then you go back on social media and it's just doom and gloom, and you're thinking, what's the point? And that's kind of the general vibe that I get from this song. And knowing that this song was placed right after the Ballad of G and X, which is based on like the theme of the album being Death of an Optimist, you have G being Grandson, which is like the optimist, the hopeful spirit, which is like, I'm gonna push for change, we can make change happen, and then you have X that's telling you it's not worth it, what's the point? And I think this song is pivotal to the entire concept of the album, and it is executed extremely well.
So I didn't interpret that like that. Is that like an official thing from Grandson that he put out?
I
The
think
G and X
you
thing, or-
spoiled the album.
No, that analysis. Was that like something that he...
No, that's kind of something that I pieced together, because like the entire song is like, we did it, we didn't. So
I was looking at the genius page last night,
Mhm.
and what he's saying is basically what I read as well. So
Oh, shit. Well, I interpreted it as, I thought this was a song written that, like, we got Trump out of office, but the Democrats and Republicans are basically the same. So, like, oh yeah, we put a Band-Aid on the problem and then ripped it off because none of it, like, actually matters.
I mean, yeah, I
Nothing's
think
gonna
that
change.
interpretation is also fair too. There's a line where, in like the second verse, where it's like, "Pat me on the back because I did the bare minimum," tweeting from my brand new condominium.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like
So-
this was something targeted at, like, neoliberals, but either way, I think part of it might be that I'm so used to the political Grandson song that I'm just looking for something political in everything that he writes.
There is definitely a political background to this song, I think, without a doubt. I think more so than I think Dirty also has that political background to it, but I think Riptide and Identity were less so political and more so focused around like the mental state. I think just to reiterate, I think We Did It is, not only do I just really enjoy the song, but I think it's a pivotal song for the concept of the album. Just based on the whole like concept of G and X, where it's like the positive and the negative side of everyone.
Having heard, I won't disagree with you that it was definitely important to the album and helps contextualize it. Having heard the album, this is my least favorite song off of it. I don't know what it is, but the delivery of We Didn't, it puts a really bad taste in my mouth, and I can't put my finger on why.
Fair enough.
But it's just not. It was not necessarily a low point, because I think that the instrumental, like electronic aspect of it, especially in the chorus, is super catchy. Like that melody in and of itself and the chorus, I haven't been able to get out of my head. But on an
Get
album,
away with it.
yeah, on an album that I thought was otherwise, honestly, spoiler alert, I guess, pretty good, which is not usually a sentiment I have about a grandson release. This was kind of a thing that I thought was just okay or not so great. But that said, I think it's still worth checking out because based on the feedback I've seen for the song, I'm probably in the minority there, both in this group and just in general. And definitely check out the new album. Came out. Yeah, Death of an Optimist came out today.
Yeah.
Definitely worth the listen.
I also want to just mention that I was going to make that whole point of like the G index and like the we did it, we didn't thing. I was going to make that whole comparison if we were recording this podcast before the album came out. It's like that's just been on my mind since like the day it came out, pretty much.
Well, it seems like you were right then. So it seems like the general.
Yeah.
The general vibe I got from the album, but
let's move on. I think we spent enough time here. Chelsea Grin and their new song "Blind Kings."
Ice cream.
Dude, I am so upset that you pointed that out. I can't unhear it. I'll never unhear it now. You've ruined it. What's that thing from SpongeBob? Soiled it. You've soiled the song for me.
I had my monologue on Grandson. I'm gonna let you guys speak your wisdom on this song.
I got nothing on this either. Go for it.
It's delicious, deathcore. Mwah. I love Chelsea Grin. I don't know. The first time I heard them, I was like, this is too heavy. I don't want to listen to this.
Me.
And then Toby was like, now listen to it. So I went back and I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. Like,
Chelsea Grin is like, I wouldn't say the only deathcore because I listened to some Whitechapel in their newest album and a few Die Artist Murder songs, but Chelsea Grin is like the only deathcore band that I'd like listen to like every song. And
yeah,
like, that's good.
Well, I think they're kind of in the same vein as maybe a Fit for an Autopsy in the sense that they kind of at times blur that line between deathcore and like heavy metalcore. And I think part of what does it for me as far as Chelsea Grin goes, and especially in this song too, is the range of vocal delivery that Tom Barber puts out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's like, I think a lot of deathcore can get exhausting sometimes because it's just brutal for 4 minutes.
There's not a lot of range. Like, it's not
right. Like variance in the song structure, I guess. Yeah. This, you're getting something new every 30, 45 seconds, whether it be a change in tempo or a change in vocal delivery.
Dude, can we talk? Sorry, I don't want to cut you short on.
No. Go for it.
The bass at the end of the song.
Yes, that was the next point I was going to bring up. Oh my goodness, I'm a sucker for a good bass line. And the fact that they just kind of fade out too. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh shit, they're going to do it to me at the end, aren't they? I thought that fade out was going to lead up into some like massive breakdown at the end. It didn't, and I was like, I felt a little bit let down, I guess. And then I just kept listening to the song, and I'm like, this is fine. This is great. I love this. It even adds to the replay value of it because you get that fade out, and then you get to go right back in when it starts over again. Oh, I can't. Between this and what's the other one? Bleeding Sun. Yeah. I assume there's an album slated for 2021, and I am extremely excited for it. That and the Alpha Wolf album that came out this year, I think have been decent surprises in the vein that like it's really heavy, but I'm really enjoying it. And I think that this is a genre of music that if people aren't already into it or they're on the cusp of it, I think that listening to something like this song will really help you in enjoying that genre because it's so close to metalcore in some ways. And because it's just such a creative, talented, unique band within that deathcore scene. Can't sing enough praises about this song. Love it. Definitely recommend it. With that said, I think that a song that Justin and Jake will be a little bit more high on than Blind Kings is Your Misery, the new song out by Archetypes Collide.
Been
Derek, I'm so glad you handed the baton to us because this song fucking slaps. It's so good.
I have been when California's Burning came out in July, Hot Milk. That was our first time talking about Hot Milk, and I remember saying I have been waiting months to talk about Hot Milk. I have been waiting even more months to talk about Archetypes Collide. Because these boys only release music like once or twice a year, but they do not fucking miss. And this time in particular, someone pissed them the fuck off, and
they are angry. Who hurt them? Because keep doing it, because it's so good, but stop hurting them.
Someone pissed them off, and they sound as good as ever.
So, for a little bit of a context, Jake and I found these guys about a year ago, when they put out a couple of singles, White Noise and One More Night. They did only one single earlier in the year called Forgive Me, and then I believe they also went to Ohio to work with some guys from Beartooth to help produce and write a couple of tracks. And then they did just a bunch of like live sessions during quarantine, and then put this out. And just how heavy it goes. They did one EP about, was it a year ago?
It was back in 2018.
2018, yeah. So that EP really just shows like their range from the vocals that I think it's I forget his name. Is it Rory?
Kyle, I think.
Kyle.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was confusing Rory. And Kyle, his range is fantastic because the amount of times he can go from just the melodic vocals to like the harsher ones is really good, especially the Bury Me at the end of the track. I feel like that's what sells it for me.
Yeah, I kind of forgot how good this band could be when someone pisses them off, because, like, really, their EP back from 2018, you have a lot more melodic stuff in the vein of Never Know and Reminiscent Life, and then you have one song on that EP called Well Wasted, which I'm pretty sure is their most popular song, or one of them. And then these past couple singles have all been in the more melodic vein, so I was almost under the pretense that they had kind of dropped this heavier sound.
No.
But they have not missed a beat.
No.
The breakdown in this song is awesome. I can't word it anywhere else.
I didn't think they'd be able to do it at like this stage, but man, I need more of this.
They brought the heat here, yeah.
I need more of it.
And the guy's clean vocals sound as good as ever.
Oh, always. I'd also recommend their live sessions because just like listening to them like play these tracks live and some of their discography, especially like Forgive Me live was really good.
This is a band that needs more recognition, and I think they're getting it. I saw they tweeted earlier today. This is getting on the SiriusXM Octane test drive. So
Ooh.
Yeah, they did play it.
They're starting to get some recognition, and well deserved is all I can say.
Well, I mean, yeah, the last test drive I saw included Breaking the Mirror by Fit for a King, some song by Daughtry, and lyrics live by Dance Gavin Dance. So when you're in the same realm of being introduced to the radio as those three artists and bands, like,
yeah,
you've got good things coming.
I think it was Archetypes Collide, Novelists FR, and someone else.
Oh, well, good
Was
for
in the test
Novelists,
drive.
too.
Talking about them later. I don't have too much more to say on this Archetypes Collide song. I think
It's real good. Go listen to it.
Speaking of real good songs you should go listen to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes, sir. Out of My Face, the new single by Designer Disguise featuring Dropout Kings.
This is a sleeper band. Designers Disguise put out an EP earlier this year. I think it's the Nowhere EP, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
And I found it just on a whim. I think I also found that through Discover Weekly and showed you guys. And damn, like them plus Dropout Kings.
Where
Dropout
the
Kings
fuck
has been...
did this come from? This came
Dropout
out of fucking
Kings...
nowhere and slaps. It just goes hard.
Yeah, so the structure of it, just starting with Designer Disguise's rap vocals, going into just the cleans for the chorus, and then Ryan just fucking let Dropout Kings just destroy the rest of the track.
This is the combination of these two bands is just a perfect match. There's no
Oh,
other
it's
way to
real
describe
good.
it.
And Dropout Kings has helped out a lot in these last 2 months with just Outline Colors, Bottle Rat.
I was not particularly high on that song, but this one though, this is one of my most played songs of the entire month.
Oh yeah.
Jacob, I'm curious. Did you get a chance to listen to this?
All I know is it's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
I only listened to it once. So.
The previous times we've talked about them on the show, it's been their more melodic rap side, and then they just come out of nowhere with this fucking straight heavy ass banger. Without a doubt, this is the heaviest song they have ever put out, and I think
I think that's only because of Dropout Kings, but still, it's really good.
I mean, the chorus here, I think, is a standout for me.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, the chorus is the chorus is my favorite, especially the start of it, like the bridging of the chorus where it's you better get out of my face, and then it just leads right into it. It just seems seamless.
The whatever it's called, I'm losing my mind. The vocals at the start sound like Attila to me, like ridiculously so. To the point where I was like, did I miss the Attila feature on this? Like, is Chris Franzak on this track? Like, am I losing my mind?
You mean the Attack?
Oh, yeah, right.
Also,
is that coming out this month?
I don't know.
I think it is. All right, hold on. Go ahead. I gotta investigate.
Yeah. While you're pulling that up, I just want to pull out one of the lyrics. That was stated in the first verse. You see no issue with your actions, you just crave reaction. Feeling like I lost myself, hold on to maintain some traction. Rather be in the DMV line than waste another fucking second of my free time. That's just how seamless that works. Like, it's hard to get rap vocals right. I feel like some from Ashes to New songs kind of miss because of that. But if you get them right, like Never Tell and fucking Designer Disguise, it's really good.
Yeah, you need to listen to this song to believe it, I think.
At least give it one listen.
Like, this song just is so unexpected in every way for me. From what I had determined that Designer Disguise were as a band. That, like, it threw all my expectations for a loop in all of the most positive ways.
Nah, they've got this definitely sets them high up there as like, yeah, whatever they're gonna put out, I'm just gonna listen to it. I don't care anymore.
It's gonna be hard to top this. I'm gonna leave it at that. I think we should move on. Unless you guys have something else to say.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick. I found out we got a new Attack out in 3 days, December 7th.
Oh man!
And we'll get to find out, I guess, who the new vocalist is. Because I mean, we'll talk about Johnny Frank later, but Johnny Frank of Bilmuri and Caleb Shomo of Beartooth are not a part of this project. And I think Chris Franzak said he was joking about joining Attack. So we have zero idea who the vocalist is. So it'll be interesting to see who takes the title of Crabcore King here and whether or not they can live up to past expectations. But
guys, it's Derek.
Yo, you got me, guys. Attack, baby.
Let's talk about this new Hollywood Undead song called Gonna Be Okay.
When the world's out of focus and looking kind of hopeless, I like to sit alone with my brain and provoke it. I'm gonna be okay.
This song, before I even heard it, I thought, pun intended, this is gonna be okay. And coming out of it, I thought, this is okay.
I think that's
that's how I feel about most Hollywood Undead songs, to be honest.
That, I enjoyed this more than most of the other recent singles, I think.
I would say so too, actually.
Like, thinking back to Idol, I don't remember Idol nearly as well at this point because it's been a couple months. But I was not a huge fan of, what was it, Coming Home from a while ago. And then Heart of a Champion featuring Ice Nine Kills and Papa Roach, which you talked about last month. That was kind of just a rehash of an old song. I enjoyed this one. In particular, I think what makes this stand out is right at the end, they kick it into high gear with the final chorus and instrumentally turn it up a notch with the drums and the guitars, and I think that really added a lot to the song. They kind of do a double-layered chorus thing where like they do the one faster chorus and then they just kind of rehash it, go back to the slow normal chorus that you hear in the first two. But overall, I'm decently high on this song in comparison to some of their other material.
Yeah, they've got. Was there a new album that came out, like Volume 2?
Yeah, it actually came out today. I actually haven't listened to it yet, but it came
I
out
haven't
today.
either. I can't be bothered. I've decided that at this point I've given up on any new albums that are come out. Today's the cutoff. I'm done. I've officially quit. I've got too much on my plate.
Fair enough, yeah.
But I mean, this one's 12 tracks as opposed to the 9 from Volume 1. Ooh, wait, they got a song featuring Kill Station. Hold on, that's got to go into listen later. All right, we've solved that problem. But yeah, no,
About that cutoff.
nothing that this band has put out, I think, has been like bad by any means. It's just another one of those bands, like I mentioned earlier, where I'm waiting for that song to really blow me out of the water.
The songs that blew me out of the water are very old for this band. So
yeah, none of their new material has been any more than like just okay or good for me.
Yeah.
Maybe that new album. In fact, I'll put it in the get to later next year playlist. But yeah, either way, again, they've got a new album out, New Empire Volume 2. If you're into Hollywood Undead, definitely go check it out. Speaking of, I guess, returns in the vein of Attack Attack, Black Veil Brides, another classic band, are back with their new single, Scarlet Cross.
And you can
How are we feeling on this?
Black Veil Brides, Justin, you introduced them to me back in 2018 with Wake Up. And that
Did
was, I think
I
if I
forgot
remember,
I introduced them to you.
Well, I remember that because that song was my most played song on Spotify for like 2 years up until a couple weeks ago.
Well, I didn't really listen to them until I started listening to Andy Black's solo stuff. Well, Andy, whatever the fuck his last name is, but he goes by Andy Black on a solo project, and I really liked his solo stuff. And then I just checked out if he had other stuff. I've completely slipped my mind that he was in Black Veil Brides, and Wake Me Up was really good. I couldn't get into this.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go, where Wake Up is still an absolutely incredible song. It's like that anthemic hard rock that I am a sucker for. And this one kind of, I don't want to say it's disappointing. It's just more of what I expect from Black Veil Brides at this point, where it's just going to be some kind of solid rock. His vocals are always going to sound good, just because he's a really talented vocalist. And the instrumentals are always going to be good, with a decent solo somewhere, probably. But it's going to take something special to take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. Nothing Black Veil Brides has ever put out, even their older stuff, like Knives and Pens, which I know is supposed to be a scene classic. Nothing's ever really clicked with me. Everything I thought has just been nah. And I don't think that this changes the tempo for that at all. Maybe something on I assume we're getting a new album will
Probably
change my mind on that. But if I'm listening to the singles and I'm not super impressed, generally that's not a good look for the rest of the album for me. But time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, they did put out an album this year.
It's just rehashed old material.
Oh, that's right. That's why it's called Restitch. Oh, I'm getting what you're putting down. All right, yeah, I'm done for today.
Exactly. He's done for today, guys. That's it. Pack it up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys in December. Wait,
it is December.
We'll see you guys later in December. See you guys next week.
I don't know if there's too much more to say about this song.
You could say Justin's dead to me.
Facts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unrelated, Awake at Last have a new song out.
Yeah, unrelated, by the way.
Yeah, unrelated. Definitely unrelated. Awake at Last have a new song out entitled Dead to Me.
Full caps.
'Cause you're dead to me. I buried every picture, every memory.
Full caps.
They started doing this full caps thing with all their recent singles. I don't know why.
This band can do
Oh, you're
better.
right. Yeah.
They can do better. They can definitely do better. I don't think this is a bad song by any means.
No.
But this band definitely has better material out there. And if this is like a mid-table song off of, like, I assume this is the third single they've released this year. I assume this has to be coming off an album eventually. If this ends up being like a mid-table song on that album, I'm gonna be satisfied.
I feel like This Means War is probably the best out of the 3 tracks they've released in this year.
I would probably agree with that.
Well, technically 4 if you count the Carry On My Wayward Son cover.
Yeah.
That cover is
I'm
the
not.
best thing this band has ever put out. I'm gonna be honest. Everything else has felt so
You're
like
right. Be honest. You're
they've-
right.
It's all felt like, I mean, and they did end up on Serious Octane, so good for them. But it felt like Octane Fuel to me, and it's all just like okay Octane Fuel.
They have a couple of standout songs.
A lot of their stuff from like their starting EP was pretty good. Life, Death, Rebirth.
Yeah, that had Purgatorium.
Purgatorium
I
is
think Purgatorium
easily the best.
Is like, if I want to be hearing Awake at Last, I want to hear music influenced by the sound off of Purgatorium, and they haven't really brought that back since.
It's the problem with the Leaders of Way as well, which kind of makes sense why they collab together. Where a lot of their older stuff is pretty good, but the newer stuff is more influenced by radio, and it's kind of the unfortunate part.
I just want to reiterate, by no means is this song bad, but I think
No.
they definitely have more potential that they're holding back in this song.
Definitely.
And I haven't listened to it enough to really remember anything too specific about this song. I think the chorus was solid, though. But, let's move on. Diamante. I should really know how to pronounce that by now.
Diamante?
Maybe.
It's
put out a
diamond
new
in Spanish.
Yeah. Put out a new song called I Love Myself for Hating You.
Lying, etc. ... Hey, baby, forever you're lost. I hate myself for giving.
And I haven't been super impressed with a lot of the material this band has put out this year. But I thought this one was decent. It has very edgy energy to it. I want to say like kind of early 2010s vibes, almost, in like the lyricism.
Yeah, maybe something that like you get from an Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. But I think it's a solid song. It's catchy. It's got like the lyrics aren't too difficult to understand what the message of the song is trying to be. And I think this song is just it's nothing special, but it's nothing bad either. I think it's an enjoyable listen. Like, I'm not going to complain if this song comes on, but I'm also not going to actively search it out too often.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to the song when I listened to it, but the lyrical structure, whether it was intentional or not, with the song title, it's making me think that it was. There's a song, I Hate Myself for Loving You, by Joan Jett, and I think her band's called the Blackhearts. Don't sue me if I'm wrong, I haven't listened to her in a while. Back from the 80s, and that song ends the song with I Hate Myself for Loving You 3 times, and this one ends it with I Love Myself for Hating You 3 times. So I thought there was sort of that interesting parallel between the two. I'd have to go back and re-listen to the melody of both.
You're right on the band, by the way.
Okay, good.
There could be a connection there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to that. But either way, I thought that, coincidental or not, that was a pretty interesting parallel between the two. And Diamante is one of those. I listened to her song where she featured on Bad Wolves way back in what, like 2017, 2018?
2018, I think.
Yeah. That was it was the one with the riot cop on the front on the cover.
Yeah.
Whatever album that was. And ever since then, she's shown up in my Release Radar every time she puts out a song. despite me telling Spotify that I don't want it to. So it's kind of like where we accidentally mentioned Solence each episode.
Oh,
became
come
a
on,
fake
dude!
We done it earlier. We talked about the Solence word.
We've already mentioned
You're right.
I thought it was
We
fair
did
game.
our
I thought it was
corner.
fair game. But it's that sort of thing where I can't escape her no matter how hard I try. And I feel like every single song of hers that I end up listening to is always good, but it's not great. And I felt the same about this song.
There's really only one song that they've put out that has really stuck with me over the years, that being War Cry from their 2018 album. But otherwise, it's like a lot of solid, sometimes underwhelming. But never would I say it's like I regret listening to it.
Yeah. No, I agree there.
A song that I maybe regret listening to is this new song by A Day to Remember called Brick Wall.
I Will Raise You definitely regret listening to, and I've heard it like 4 or 5 times at this point.
All right,
Oh,
so
This sucks. This sucks. I'm going to be blunt. This song sucks.
I think this song sucks in its pieces. The pieces together suck.
Like
It's
a broken
like,
down brick wall.
It's like if you're fucking doing some genetic sequencing with DNA and you're just grabbing.
Where the fuck did we get to
It's like, I'm taking a genetics and society class right now. Okay.
Okay.
It's like you're doing some genetic DNA sequencing and you're just like taking out some genes, putting them somewhere else, and then you end up with a totally different disease. And I feel like that's what this song is.
You guys ever watch Full Metal Alchemist?
No.
Okay,
Nobody here has seen Full Metal Alchemist?
I have.
I was gonna say, this is like when they try to bring their mother back, and that deformed like
Hey,
creature that's made up of like 6 different things comes back. That's what this song is.
hey.
They were
I
like,
actually like this song.
oh, what the fuck? Okay, yo, my bad. All right, so I want to hear why you liked it then, because
I don't know. Usually, I don't like country at all, and
what?
this is like a
Okay, hold on. No.
No.
What?
It does have country elements.
I would agree.
You
I
would
would
say
agree.
country rock elements, no?
Yeah. I can see
Okay,
it.
country rock. Yes, I thought you were talking about
No. Country rock.
Okay,
country rock, not
okay.
country.
Dude, I was like, where in the world are you drawing this from? Okay,
And
is that why you like it?
no, because normally I don't like those kind of songs. I don't know why I do. I
God, of all the
like
songs,
it's
that
not
click with you-
not amazing, but it's like I don't see why people are hating on it so much.
I feel like
I can reason with
normally-
you on that, I think.
normally A Day to Remember sets out like 5 dartboards, and they've got different pieces of a song.
Yeah.
And they've got precision. They're like, we're going to do this, this, and this. And they put it together, and it sounds great. This one, I think all of them got drunk and threw the darts. And so it ended up with different mixed-matched pieces of, like, material. I don't know. This feels like 5 or 6 different songs in one
See,
that,
we're
when
gonna
put
talk about
together,
a song-
are just
we're gonna
not
talk
great.
About a song later that I feel is like 5 or 6 songs in one. It's
Jacob,
amazing.
you comparing this to country made me go back to all our playlists.
It's not country. It's country rock. Okay.
Okay, still the fucking Hellions track that was put
Oh,
out
that-
back in July.
That slaps.
Yeah,
I
that
will
one
not-
actually slaps, though.
I will not take any Hillians slander in my good Christian podcast, okay?
Fucking South on 85.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I agree. It is all over the place.
Yeah.
it's
But,
just...
I see people hating it everywhere, and I'm like, I don't think it's that bad.
I can reason
Well-
with you on parts of this song being good. The build up into like the drop, I think, is genuinely good. It's just the beginning of the verse with the country rock elements that I think really just throws this song for a loop, and there's nothing that ties it all together. I think
Yeah.
the elements of this song are there. You just they just weren't cut up the right way.
The instrumentals, I feel like, felt a little bit like muddled to me. But we have a release date for this, right? It's March. It's early March. Because it was supposed to be the same day as Archetypes, and then they moved it to a week after. I don't know if we get another single at this point, but for me, what? What's up?
Is this better than Degenerates?
Oh God!
I have not.
It's like
that song
that's like asking me whether I want like testicular cancer or like throat cancer. What I was just gonna say actually is that it feels like the two good singles are bookended by two bad ones, in the sense that like I start off with Degenerates, and I'm like, ugh, and then I get Resentment, and I'm like, okay, and then I get Mind Reader, which is one of my favorite songs I've heard all year. And my expectations are now high, and then I get this, and now I'm feeling like, I don't even know what this album's gonna sound like anymore, dude. We've gotten 4 different.
Data Remember's usually all over the place on their albums too. They got like pop punk, metalcore.
Well, I mean,
I'm about to make a really bad pun here. Would you say?
Oh
that,
God!
Here's the thing. At the very least,
okay.
The man's pun.
Here's a good thing. At the very least, the album starts with the 2 good singles. That means the rest of the album is not worth listening, probably.
Oh yeah, so it's only downhill from the start. Good, glad to hear it.
I also want to mention this is the last track on the track list.
Track.
Wait. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
That's like
I'm with you guys now.
That really went from a we did it to a we didn't real fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, facts.
Anyway, can I get to my bad pun now?
Yo, that wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
Would you say that your hype on this album has hit a brick wall? Haha. Haha.
Dude.
It's funny. Laugh.
Dude. No. Yeah, no, I feel like hearing the closer for an album as a single is bad enough. This song being the closer makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm with you guys now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like if we got Larissa Pam or whatever from like A House on Fire as a single.
God,
we got Like I Do. We got like I
well,
do
yeah, but slaves can do no wrong, so I don't know what you want from me. But
I still feel like I would have liked Like I Do better kept as a secret.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I would have liked like 4 of those singles kept a secret.
But between the fact that A Day to Remember has like yet to do anything about their bassist, and also giving us the closing track on an album, and it's this. I don't know. It's a bad look for the album. My hype has been kind of killed, but I also feel like at the same time we spent way too much time on this song.
So let's go cleanse ourselves. Let's go cleanse ourselves in the House of Glass. Era's brand new song. Was that a cheesy transition, or did I do fine?
Can you really cleanse yourself in a House of Glass, though?
I mean, I guess it depends if there are people around. Like, if you're out in the country, sure. If you're in a House of Glass in the middle of New York City, I don't know. If you're into that sort of thing, I mean...
No, it's country rock. Come on.
House of Glass? All right. I draw the line at calling Era country rock.
Yeah.
This is not better than Snowblood.
It is better than Snowblood.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll shut up then. Tell me why you think it's better than Snowblood.
Not by much though. So
what makes you think that?
So with the song, I do not like Jesse's role again. I said this with Snowblood. I don't like how Jesse is, his vocals, not his guitar work, his vocals. I feel like he's not given enough time to shine on these songs, and I don't like it. I don't know. I said this with Snowblood, but
yeah,
I guess
repeat
myself.
For me, I think Era has always been really good instrumentally. Part of what was holding the last album back for me was that those instrumentals seem to overpower the vocals at times and kind of muddle the vocal delivery. With their cover of You Think I Ain't Worth $1, but I Feel Like $1,000,000, I think is the song name. the vocals really shined there. Snowblood, the vocals and instrumentals felt like they were mixed perfectly together. This one feels like we've kind of slipped back into a little bit of that instrumental overpowering the vocal, which kind of put me off to this a little bit. But I think that the instrumentals at the same time very much make up for it. This kind of sounds like Tool. There's like a Tool riff at one point in here. And like for somebody who doesn't like Tool very much, I did appreciate the fact that it was in there. I don't know.
Hey, the song's not 20 minutes long, okay?
Good point. Good point.
Do we have a release date on this album? Do you know?
I don't think.
I don't think anything's been announced. I assume it'll be 2021. Either way, it's one of my most anticipated. I think this is a good second single to have.
Yeah.
This is not
think
a bad single in any means.
How are you feeling about it?
For me, I listened to this song and I questioned myself, why would I ever listen to this instead of Snowblood? Because the two are just that similar to me.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I listened to this song a handful of times and I'm like, it's not bad by any means, but I think Snowblood does everything that this song does just a little bit better.
Okay. I honestly thought that the two were distinct from each other, so it's interesting that you drew that comparison.
I think mostly
I don't know.
instrumentally, there was just a lot that it just sounded the same to me.
Okay.
And I don't think the vocals stand out in the same way that they did in Snowblood. I think lyrically too, like the chorus just starting with Requiem, it just didn't sit right with me compared to, I don't even remember what the chorus in Snowblood is at this point, but I remember enjoying the chorus of Snowblood significantly more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I will agree with you there.
That's kind of my stance on it. No, by no means is it a bad song, but I find myself like, instead of wanting to go back to this song when I see it in my playlist, it's like, why don't I just go listen to Snowblood instead?
Because I didn't say why I like this better than Snowblood. I basically said why I hate both. But I want to say the reason I do like it better is because of Jesse. He does shine more on this song than he does in Snowblood, I think.
Are you saying in terms of vocally or instrumentally?
Yeah, vocally, sorry.
Interesting, because I thought the exact opposite. I thought that he got to shine more in Snowblood than in this one. I don't know.
Hivemind really in shambles here.
Yeah, we had a nice moment earlier between me and Toby on Wage War, and then, we exhausted our Hivemind powers for the day, and now we're falling apart. Let's see if we were all feeling the same about this new outline and color single entitled Poison Prescribed as Medicine.
I'm excited to talk about this band for the first time since Punishment.
Yep, I'm feeling the exact same way.
This is great.
This is fantastic.
This is awesome.
Oh no!
Sorry, I gotta do it like you guys.
We're having such a good moment. Oh
no.
What a vibe kill. All right, why didn't you like this?
Something about it, like something about the latter half of the track. I like the clean vocalist more, which is funny because before the new uncleans vocalist, I liked the uncleans more in outline color. I like the cleans vocalist more in this particular track just because I feel like the chorus that he got put in was very much well done. But that's really it. There isn't really much else going on this track for me, to be honest. Also, before you guys tell me why I'm wrong, I want to get into there's an EP, Imposter Syndrome Part 2. And funnily enough, it's coming out on April 23rd at 1:01 a.m.
Why 1:01?
A weird fucking time, but I have no idea. But yeah, I could not get into it. I don't know why. Just something about it. I have about like 30 something listens to it. So
on the opposite end of the stick, I think that's more listens than I have on this song. In all honesty,
I really tried.
I have struggled to get into outlining color all year, and this song really just struck a chord with me that worked. I think the chorus, it hooks you in, and it gets stuck in your head so fast. Just from that beginning line of "What a beautiful day to be broken." And then I think instrumentally this song is really solid too. The breakdown that comes later on is just solid. I don't have too much else to say. Everything in this song works well for me when usually all the elements don't come together in the way that I hope they would in some of their other songs.
Yeah, I think you perfectly encapsulate everything I wanted to say about this. Definite recommend at a time where I haven't really been able to recommend anything else from Outline and Color. Not that it's been like bad by any means. It's just been not clicking with me as well as something like Punishment did.
Cries and Ghost of You.
I mean, I was really into that track for a while and it kind of fell off, but I don't think it's a bad track. I don't think that this band has any bad tracks per se. It's just that I think that this is a standout among their recent releases.
I went back to Ghost of You for the first time since February after listening to the song, and it definitely grew on me.
Yeah. To be fair, they've also put out like 11 fucking tracks in a year where it's like really difficult to put out music. So good on them. And I'm excited to see how this EP unfolds. And this is one of the first tracks on there. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Let's get moving on to this new song by Makena. We talked about him for the first time last month with Methane. They're back with a new song called Habitual. And the song goes hard. The song goes real hard. If I'm not mistaken, this might be my most played song of the month, and this also might just be my favorite song released the entire month. And for a band with like 2,000 monthly listeners, like this band needs some more attention.
Mm-hmm.
The guitars in this song, like literally from the first second that you hear them, they catch your attention and they don't stop. Like when we were talking about Foxblood earlier, and we mentioned the groovy guitars, these guitars are groovy in a completely different sense. Those guitars in Foxblood were like a heavy groove. These are like a fun poppy kind of groove that just carries throughout the entire song beautifully. And the vocals complement it so well. So incredibly well.
Yeah, this band has been an interesting surprise in that we mentioned, or at least, before with Methane, that this band had all of the aspects of a band that was set up for success from the get-go, very early on with minimal listeners. I mean, even now they're still at 2,500, which is great for them, but still kind of, in the smaller vein of things. And more people need to be talking about this band.
For real. Because
they're amazing. I mean, one EP under their belt, these two singles, and they already sound this good. I mean, Methane's sitting at 15,500 streams, which is, great for a smaller band. Habitual's already at 2,500. That this is something where I feel like they need a label, maybe in the vein of a Sharp Tone or something like that, to pick them up and help them grow, even if they don't stick with that label. Because if some label picks them up very early on like this, they won't regret it. I mean, this band has all the promise in the world.
A rising empire.
Interesting.
No idea why.
I don't know if I would agree, because like a rising empire is like, I'm pretty sure they're like based in Germany, and they do like that's why they have like Future Palace and Anna's Okay and a lot of other like European bands, and this band's from somewhere in America. So I wouldn't be mad by it, but like I don't know if I make that connection.
There's so many unsigned great bands out there that are just waiting for a label to pick them up. Like for me, Sunsleep comes to mind. Like they're not signed, they need to be. Like
I'm pretty sure Hot Milk are unsigned as well. I don't know if they even want to be signed to a label.
Traceless, Loveless.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got plenty of bands out there that are doing fine without a label. I think Asking Alexandria is not on a label right now, and look how they're doing. But yeah. But yeah, no, so many bands out there that could do with somebody picking them up, giving them some publicity, because outside of not being, well recognized, this band's got everything they need to become big.
Yep. The last thing I want to mention before we move on is they had a bit of unclean vocals thrown in just for a couple of lines, and I think that just adds to the potential this band has, where if they're able to keep everything going from Methane and Habitual and do a song that's that highlights the unclean vocals more, like, you've got such a versatile group here that I'm really excited to see where they go in the future. This band has a bright future, I hope.
Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on them from here on out.
Another band with a bright future, Hurtwave. They put out a new track called My Father Said.
So please come home. You don't have to be sad on your own.
You know, I feel like the Hivemind will be together on this one. I have a good feeling.
You
about this.
can't say no to Rory.
Now, this is an important decision, everybody.
Hmm?
Is this the best Hurtwave song?
100%.
I vote yes.
100%.
Jake?
Oh,
Jake?
Yeah, I need to
Cautious
listen.
yes.
I need to
Cautious
listen.
yes.
I'm gonna say yes, just so I don't get murked
There
on
we go.
Pat. But I'll
I
have
said
to
I
like.
like a brick wall. Okay, you can't. You can't.
Look, no. This is your redemption arc. It's fine.
It's
I'll
a
have to go back
cautious
and
yes
listen.
from me, only because I haven't listened to it enough, because it's a fucking depressing ride of a song that
I'll have to go back
I
and
love
listen to
it.
Sever
I
a couple
think
times.
This is my most listened to song this month.
Damn.
I
It's
can't
so
blame
good.
you.
Yeah,
It's-
this
it's-
song takes you
it's so
for a
good.
ride.
It's
A
like
very
if you,
emotional ride.
it feels like you took the rock aspect out of a song like Burial Plot and
How
just made it kind of more like soft spoken, which I guess technically is what most of this project is, but I
Yeah.
feel like I drew a direct correlation between this and Burial Plot directly.
how
I
many
got
times
the-
can Rory get hurt?
Facts. Who hurt this dude? You're hurt by this story. On one hand, stop hurting him. On the other hand, please continue to hurt him because I want more.
Self-inflicted
No, but-
pain is a treat for all of us.
The effect on his voice at the beginning is kind of like in Drunk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of drunk comparisons you can draw with this. At
What,
least
what more is there
A
to
lot
need to
of
be
drunk
said about?
comparisons.
What more is there that needs to be said about Hurtwave and Rory and just everything about?
then
this?
just go fucking listen to it. Like,
Exactly. We are telling you that this song sounds like a combination of Drunk and Burial Plot, and if that's not enough to sell you, I don't know what is.
You don't like
Like, this is
Dayseeker,
so
and
good.
you're a really sad person.
I don't care if you don't like Dayseeker. Please go listen to this because everybody should. Seriously. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that don't like Dayseeker for whatever reason, and this deserves to be heard by Dayseeker fans and non-Dayseeker fans alike. This is so good.
Agreed.
I love this song.
This went into my sad emotional playlist before it went into my main playlist.
Yeah, that's about where it went into mine
Yeah.
too. And
Like
it's-
I was like 30
it's
seconds
great.
into it, and I'm like, yeah, it's one of those songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like click.
It's one of
I think-
those songs. 2 a.m. You're down the rabbit hole, and you just need to cry a little more.
Yeah. Put on My Father Said. No, I think that the build up and progression in the song too is incredible. This to me feels like more in the vein of a Dayseeker song than any of the other like Hurtwave songs have felt like in the past.
And
I
that's
guess like Hurtwave has felt more like a synth pop sort of vaporwave type thing.
I
This
feel like
feels
that's-
more like a slower ballad you'd hear on a Dayseeker album.
I feel like that's also good because you definitely want that the difference because you don't want this to be like a second Dayseeker because then it just falls by the wayside.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. This I think they've got another single out this month, and then maybe one or two more. And honestly, EP of the year 2021. preliminary decision because
Right out of the gate.
everything that this project has put out has been incredible. Rory doesn't miss.
Loveless. They put out
Yes.
a cover of Last Christmas. And I can't tell you who says that song because I don't listen to Christmas music.
I'll look it up.
From Wham.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, what's his name? It's George something, right?
I'm sorry, you guys are
George
messed
Michael?
up if you don't listen to Christmas season. I know
Is it-
we went over this already. But...
It's George Michael. It's George
George Michael.
right?
It's George Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
from when-
So, for reference, this is a love list with a superhero titled Downer Incorporated, otherwise known as Colin Quinn. For those that don't know,
yeah.
this is a Christmas cover, and I mainly wanted this on the podcast to just kind of highlight love lists because I don't think we're gonna get another track at the end of this year. Just because like fucking 7 singles, and I think only 2 of them just kind of are good, but not good enough to really stand out.
Mhm.
And the fact that they can still do well on a cover, Christmas cover, is good. I also kind of want to bring up the topic of covers in general. Like, at what point do you consider a cover good if it doesn't like be its own thing and it's just this singer and this band doing this song because they can?
Yeah.
I played this song to my sisters and they liked it, and I think that's all that needs to be said.
Okay, then
They listened to
that's good.
They like Christmas music more than I do, and they thought it was cool. So yeah.
Something that's been really interesting to me. You mentioned Downer Inc., which is just Kellen Quinn.
Yeah.
When he put out the EP from Downer Inc. earlier this year, which was pretty good, I'd recommend it.
He's also putting out a new song this month, December as well.
I thought that it would be one of those things where he reserves the
You cut out
Kellen
for a moment?
Quinn
Yep,
iconic
there it is.
name for features and does his. Oh, sorry. All right, we good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
What?
You're good.
Okay,
Keep going.
okay. Sorry, I was just gonna say that I would think that he would reserve Kellen Quinn for features, and then put out solo material, quote unquote, under Downer Inc. But then we have Downer Inc. acting as the feature here. So now I'm wondering, why would he make Downer Inc. and just not release music under the more iconic, well-known name of Kellen Quinn?
That being said, though, this is definitely a track where it's just like 2 friends having a good time, and I can't really complain with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. My complaint isn't with the feature. It's just like I'm wondering more as to why he made the decision to go under the alias Downer Inc. if he's just going to feature as Downer Inc. under songs.
He
'Cause,
might
like,
he might be putting more passion work into Downer Inc. At this current moment, which is probably why.
Well, my thought process was that Kellen Quinn is featured on 80 million different songs, so if people went to go check out his like solo material or whatever, it might be populated under the 80 million songs he's been featured into, and so he wants like kind of a clean slate. And then he's getting a feature on this song. It's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? I don't know.
No, I
So,
agree.
to point that out as well, it's a good day in life when Kellen Quinn, under a different title, has less monthly listeners than the band he's featured on. Because
I mean, he's got one
Downer
EP out, right?
Inc. has about 9,000 monthly listeners. Loveless has 67,000.
My God, yeah, he doesn't even have any solo songs.
Nah,
So why wouldn't he just whatever?
Kellen Quinn's a funny
I won't
man.
even begin to try and pretend to understand.
questionable
it.
marketing
No,
decision.
he's putting on a solo song this month. So maybe
Well, that's what I meant, like under the name Kellen Quinn, though. Like, there's no solo material there, so why wouldn't he just? I don't know. I'm not
He's a
about
funny
to go
man.
ask him because I doubt he'd even respond in the first place. And frankly, I don't care enough to know. It just kind of irks me because I don't understand it.
I feel that.
I think.
Can I make a funny transition here?
Oh,
Already?
go for it, man. I'm all ears.
Would you call it The Tragedy?
I was gonna
the name
make.
of this
I
New
was.
Man Is Okay single.
Waiting for the girl that she could be. She wanna be the tragedy.
I was gonna make a similar thing and say a tragedy and hope it like passed, but you know what? We take those. I'm not super high on this, but I think it's a million times better than that stupid fucking Bonfire of the Millennials garbage that we got before. I still can't get over that song. There's no way you name drop Boomer in a metalcore song and get away with it. I'm still mad.
This is
unless you like Franz from Attila.
Yeah.
This
Whatever.
is catchy. I still like stuff more off of Arms more than what's been released. But like, this is fucking catchy.
This song does everything that Anna's Okay has always done well, but I feel like it has deeper lyricism than a lot of their recent songs. You take a song like STFU, and you get what you're getting out of that song. Shut the fuck up. Like a Parasite had a little bit of interesting lyricism. Face the Facts as well, but then you get Bonfire of the Millennials, and they're just reading you a story in that song. But I think there's some decent lyricism in this song, and everything else is as good as ever as this band. I'm disappointed that it didn't come out today and it got pushed back to January. But maybe I shouldn't be, because now that means that I get to highlight one more band on my top 10 albums of this year. So...
Yeah, that was my logic of moving. It's the same sort of thing with moving Bring Me Over to EP. I'm like, nah, I can't count this as an album.
No.
I can give that spot to something else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have really too much to say about this. It's okay. I guess I'm not really as high on anything that they've put out besides, oh man, what was that single after STFU?
Like a Parasite.
Yes. Yeah.
This is my favorite of this 4 they've released.
Has it been 5?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
5. Never mind.
I was gonna
We
say
can just
still
forget
my
just
favorite.
forget about Bonfire of the Millennials here.
That's why.
We don't speak of Bonfire of the Millennials. It's fine.
I try to erase that one from my memory, but yeah, this is my favorite.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this album goes.
I don't think there's too much more to say.
Nope.
Novelists FR. They got a new vocalist in Tobias Risch, and they got a new song called Lost Cause.
No, that's
all over the place.
Yeah, that's the vocalist from Alaska, right?
Yeah, it is.
No idea.
And we talked about them previously because they were featured on Test Drive for a good reason. This song fucking rocks.
Yeah,
the song's good.
It's good.
My only experience with the guy was when he featured on that song from Future Palace, Illusionist, and I thought it was a solid feature, but it didn't blow my mind or anything. But I think he does a stellar job on the vocals in this song, both the cleans and the uncleans. I think there's a nice dynamic range to it all, and especially the chorus. The chorus hits fucking hard. It's a very, very nice chorus, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, I've yet to really click with this song. That breakdown took me by surprise.
Oh,
I was definitely
the
not
whole
expecting
song
that.
took me by surprise.
There was a lot of surprising elements of this song, that's for sure.
Yeah, one of them was.
I was surprised this song even came out.
Yeah, there was this little 1 second heavy electronic bit, I think right after the chorus or right before the chorus or something, and I was like, where is this going? And then the breakdown hit, and I was like, oh, okay, I see.
Was that? It was
I see where
after
this
the
went.
first chorus where it's like monster, and then it just jumps into the next verse really quick. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Oh
I-
yeah, I just heard it. It's about at 1 minute 48 seconds.
I thought that was
Yeah.
really neat. I really enjoyed that.
It's good.
Yeah, either way, now that they've got Tobias as their vocalist, I'm interested to see where this band goes, what aspects of the band they continue to keep, and what else they might try and explore into with some of that Alaska influence if he brings it to the table.
Which is good because Alaska dying out.
Yeah, that's
Very upsetting.
that was something I wanted to mention. I thought that this video, song, whatever, was remarkably quick for having Alaska just disbanded a month ago. So I'm wondering, how long ago did that decision get made? Right? To the point where Tobias was in the band for long enough that they could write new music and record a video. Because even Slaves, it took them, 6 months?
Yeah,
release the video
mind
from
you,
the time when Matt joined the band.
they announced their disbandment back in September. It was probably good, maybe a month or two before they actually disbanded, while they were kind of separated and stuff. Because that's usually how it goes. They probably don't disband immediately when they make those announcements and stuff. It's probably just the time away. So probably in that time away was when the Novelists FR started working on stuff.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to mention before we move on is the guitar solo in this song. It goes.
Yeah.
It goes.
Yeah,
It goes.
it's really good. It's really good. Yeah, the instrumentation of this, I think, especially was the highlight for me.
I agree.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Second to last single.
Traceless. New song called I'm Fine.
Don't tell me I don't want these days I just don't feel right.
Song's good. Real good.
I know you disagree with me here, Justin, but I enjoyed this much more than Ghost. Ghost has not grown on me at all, and I think the chorus in this song in particular is really catchy, and in general, this song's just solid. Front to back.
I think they're kind of one and the same. It really depends. Just because I like Ghost more because I feel like they have more playtime with the vocals in that, and I feel like this really stands out instrumentally, especially with Nicole, the producer of the band. She posted some of the instrumentals and like working on it, and I really feel like the instrumentals on this stand out and the vocals of Ghost stand out. So like if like that's kind of my depiction between the two. I still think this is good, and their EP is shaping up to be really good. I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah.
Probably early 2021.
Probably.
So at this point, we've got, 3 singles out from this year at least?
No, I don't think Trust Issues is going to be on it. I think it's Ghost, I'm Fine, and then there's 4 more because it's a 6-track EP.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, with all the tracks you got out now, like, I feel like that kind of spoils the EP if we've got half the tracks out already. But yeah, T's fine. Hopefully it comes early 2021 because I don't want it to be...
Don't want it to interfere with your list.
Well, I mean, there's that, but also, too, like, the longer it takes to come out, the more singles we have potential to get, and I don't want to have more of those tracks spoiled because I think that EP has great potential to end up at least high somewhere on that list come the end of the year. If nothing else, I'll enjoy it because this band's really good. So
they're, and as we mentioned earlier, they're one of the like good bands that really needs a label to just send them soaring.
Yeah.
Speaking of I was going to say, speaking of a smaller band, another one that needs a label, this new track from, what's that, Sequoia, entitled Scarred. Have we talked about this band before?
Yeah, they released a song called Fallout back in May, and I still think back to that one pretty vividly. That one had solid instrumentation and vocals all the way around. And this song is very similar, but I think it's almost too similar. In a similar vein to comparing Snowblood to House of Glass by Era, comparing this new song Scarred to Fallout, I think both are very similar, and I don't feel like Scarred offers something that makes me want to go back to it like Fallout did.
The vocals are too drowned out by the instrumentals for me to really enjoy it, if I'll be honest.
I think that's a fair point, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
kind
was
of
going
just
to
part of
say
their sound, though.
I don't remember that. Well, evidently I don't because I asked if we talked about this band before, but I don't remember too much about that other single, but at least for this one, it sounds like they're at least they have components. I think I agree with you on the mixing and production that the instrumentals feel like they're drowning out the vocals a little bit.
Instrumentals are great though.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This band has always shined on the instrumentals.
That's the thing. Like sometimes Spotify Discover Weekly will give me some song where it's from some small band and they mixed it poorly and the instrumentals completely drown out the vocals and then neither are good and I have a bad time. This one, it's like I'm hearing the vocals in the background and while they may not be prominent, I like them. I hear the instrumentals and they're really good, so I've got less of a problem with that mixing. But I feel like if they fine-tuned that production mixing a little bit, they'd have something here that's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested to see how it goes going forward. They've only got 4 songs out and all this year, so maybe we're looking at an EP potentially.
Could just be a string of singles.
Yeah, that too. Build up their base. I mean, they're at 8,000 monthly listeners right now, and their number one has 202,000 listens. So they're going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting to see where this goes from here on out.
That's it for the singles this month.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it. We're an hour 45 minutes in or so. I feel like that's
right.
a little bit longer than I anticipated given the material this month. But in terms of albums and EPs, we definitely had a quieter month on our side compared to
it's going to change in December. Just telling you that right now.
So, well, I mean, I think it was lower in quantity, but not necessarily in quality. I thought that there were some pretty good releases to come out in November.
Yeah. Let's get started with this first one. Back at the top of the month, Makari dropped their brand new EP. What's it called? Fuck.
Continuum. It's on the playlist. You're not looking at it?
I'm looking at the playlist, but it only shows me the name of the song and the artist.
That's fair. Yeah, the EP is called Continuum. And the singles that we already talked about were like Labyrinth and Reflection. So we got The Fall and Men.
No, we hadn't talked about Reflection yet.
Oh, we didn't? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because
I think we decided,
EPs well, no, it was the same month as the EP, yeah. So
it was?
Yeah, so that's why we didn't talk about it. So, but yeah, The Fall and Mend, I think, are my favorite off this EP. If I didn't already listen to Labyrinth like 100 times.
Okay.
I want to speak higher on this EP than I am going to, is all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, I want to elaborate on that.
I wish that I enjoyed this more than I ended up enjoying it.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Because all of the elements are there to be good, but it just doesn't stick the landing for me. Labyrinth is really the only song that has kind of stuck with me.
So, Let Go is one of my most played songs of the recent months. I think that this EP starts on its highest note on Let Go, and it kind of not necessarily decreases in quality, but the rest of the songs for me aren't as good, and it kind of plateaus in terms of quality. It's like plateauing at like a 7.5, 8, right? So I can't complain too much, but it doesn't feel like it ever gets any better than the opening track, which was not a good look for the EP, although I will say that I thought Mend was a great way to end it.
Yeah, Mend was a great end. I still think The Fall is the best off the EP. If not, like Let Go and Labyrinth are a close second.
My biggest problem with Makari is that I understand that it's Andy Cizek's like soft vocal type of project, whereas on his other projects he's doing more of the heavier, harsher vocals. I wish he would incorporate at least some of those into this and turn it more into a post-hardcore band, because every single Makari song that I hear outside of Let Go feels like I'm hearing too much of his frankly amazing voice, but it feels like it goes on. It was kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where with like a lot of deathcore, right? It feels like you've got a lot coming at you at once, and it can kind of become monotone at times.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about this band. That the vocals and instrumentals are both good, but they don't do enough with them a lot of the time for me to retain my interest in a lot of the songs front to back, whether it be the EP, the album, whatever.
I relate to a lot of that.
It's no fault of the band because they're all really talented. It's not quite clicking.
Where do you fall on this, Jacob? Because I know you're a big fan of Noisia, and I don't know what your opinion on Makari is.
So I listened to this only once, and it was yesterday. And it was kind of like how I felt with Hands Like Houses. Like it's there and it exists.
Yeah.
And it's like okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can definitely see where you guys are coming from. I'll also agree. And this is kind of about 7.8, around 8 there for me. Probably it's spoilers probably would make that top EPs, but it's still like a really well done. It's just there's too much of the same thing kind of going on in each of these tracks to really set them apart from Andy's vocals.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, if we could get something, not even like an unclean vocal, but something maybe just a little bit rougher at times to accent some of his vocals, like I feel like that would do wonders for this project. It's just, it's all crystal clear all the time, and that's not, for whatever reason, with his voice, it's just not doing it for me.
I mean, not even then. Maybe just a little bit of variance in instrumentation, because I think listening back to the EP, I feel like it's some of the same instruments just being used a lot, and I feel like if we got different instruments used a little bit more, I feel like this would set this EP a bit more apart from other stuff they've done, because this kind of just falls in line with Hyperreal.
Yeah, that's about how I felt.
We're just kind of there. There isn't much different. There's a couple tracks I'll like just because of the lyricism and everything. Apart from that, that's all I got.
Jake put it best that it's really good, or at least I think it's really good, but that you said I want to love it more than I do. That's where I'm at too. That's how I feel about this project as a whole, in particular this EP. I want to love it more than I do. I'll still recommend it. I think that people should check it out because it is good. It's just not quite doing it for me in the way that I had hoped it would, especially after hearing Let Go.
Yeah, I think I don't have too much more to add.
We've got another EP coming up here. I think the last EP we're going to talk about. Yep. Cipher Sight's self-titled EP, Cipher Sight.
I got carried away like a bird with its prey.
So this is a solo project of I forget who.
Dude from Ice Nine Kills, right?
No, he's in Motionless in White.
Justin Morrow.
Formerly of Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah.
Justin Morrow.
Justin Morrow.
We talked about Icon's Crown and Bach a while ago. So we got 2 new songs, Figurines and Generation Degeneration. And coming off of Bach, I didn't have too many expectations for this EP. And then I listened to it, and outside of Bach, this is a really solid EP. I enjoyed this. In particular, I really enjoyed Generation Degeneration, which is a funny name for the song. But I think particularly the chorus in that song had vocally was great, but also lyrically I think was a really neat chorus. I don't have the lyrics down, but overall, other than Bach, I enjoyed this and I would recommend it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite as high on it as you are. I thought it was good. I think that 4 tracks is simultaneously the perfect length for this and also not enough. I would have preferred maybe just maybe 1 or 2 more tracks on it to give me a little bit more variation. Because because this is their first official release of the project, right? This is a new project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's self-titled. So I'm expecting this to be something like more of a statement of what this project is about. So normally on like an album, I would want something where there's like a cohesive sound. On an EP like this, I would hope that I would get something where it's more experimentation and a deliverance of what this band is going to sound like so that you have an idea for the future of what elements are going to be incorporated. And so in that sense, like I wish they would have included 1 or 2 more tracks where they branched out a little bit more if they felt comfortable with it. Because if they didn't, if this is what it's going to sound like, then that's fine. But I'm left leaving this with it was good. I wish that there were more elements where they'd dove into some experimentation, because right now I'm not hearing much of anything here that I can't get with another band. If that makes sense.
Bach is like that experimentation on the EP, and it just didn't hit. You could argue Icon's Crown as well with the like kind of horror creepy influence in that song at times.
Yeah, but then just like Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah.
Like,
Figurines and Generation Degeneration are both solid songs, but I think you
make
can
it sound
find
like it's a bad thing, dude.
Well, no. I'm saying that it's already been done by Ice Nine
I know.
Kills. Yeah. Well, I also don't like Ice Nine Kills, so that could be part of it. But I don't know. It's not a bad project. They're all good songs. I would even go so far as to say, having revisited Bach when I wasn't quite as high on it, that everything here is good. I just don't feel like there's anything here that's like super unique in a way that I'm like, oh, this is new. This is kind of like a revolutionary sound. I want to hear more of this. I don't really see myself revisiting this.
Yeah, I don't expect this EP to last too long with me, but it was a pleasant surprise listening to it. It definitely overdid what I expected, I would say.
Now, fellas.
Yeah.
Bilmuri has a new album out entitled
My Boy.
This is not an EP.
No.
It is 20 minutes.
This is not an EP. I do not care. I simply do not care. If they're marketing it if Bill Murray's going to market it as an album, especially considering his past record of how he releases music, I'm going to count it as an album. And by God, it's one of the best albums I've heard all year.
It's called Aggie Pocket.
Keep control.
Yeah, Aggie Pocket. Oh, did I cut out?
No, you just forgot to say it.
No, I swear, bro, clip it. Hold on, I'm going to the stream and clipping it.
You did not say it.
How do I
You
clip
did not say it?
Clip, dude. I swear to you, I said Iggy Pocket.
But it's so good.
I bet I cut out, but yeah, no, this is phenomenal, incredible.
A few minutes ago when I said that I wanted to enjoy it more than I did.
No,
I did it.
No. You can't say that.
I did enjoy it more than I expected, but I'm still left a little underwhelmed.
No. You can't say that.
I'm sorry.
No,
you're not allowed. You are forbidden.
How can you say that with a track called "Fluoride in the Heart of Water"?
Some tragic words that it might just fracture the hive mind forever.
How can you say that with Fluoride in the Hard Seltzer Water with John fucking Mess and Roy Rodriguez?
That song doesn't stand out to me. I'm sorry.
How?
Man, it's interesting that you say that, because I showed it to my friend who I've recently gotten into Dance Gavin Dance and Dayseeker. They both ended up on his Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year for top artists, so I think my job there is done.
Nice.
But he was feeling just okay with it as well, and he said that he wanted to like it more than he did. So I guess that this is sort of a polarizing track in that sense. So you either really enjoy it or you like it less than you want to.
This is I will
say, that track as a whole is not my favorite, because I seriously dislike most other humans. Is probably my favorite.
Dude, I was gonna say the flute.
Yeah, the fucking flute. It's so good.
With Fluoride in the Hard Seltzer Water, it's like you see Bill Murray featuring Rory Rodriguez and John Mess, and you're like, holy shit, what a fucking collab.
And then you listen to the song, and you're like, holy shit, what a fucking collab, right? That's where you're going.
I think when you have two people as talented as both of John Mess and Rory Rodriguez, your expectations are set so high.
Yeah, I think I set my expectations too high for that song as well.
Yeah, exactly. You expect something fucking mind-blowing out of that. And my mind was not blown. It was just a good song.
Man,
I'm disappointed in both of you.
Yeah, exactly. I set my expectations high and it met them.
It's a rare occurrence where Derek and I are on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Justin, you say we're on the same page, but I seriously dislike Most Other Humans. It's my least favorite song on here. So
I mean, that's fine. And yeah, I can see why it'd be your least favorite, because quite honestly, I think the first listen really stuck it out for me as my favorite. I may have to go back and listen to the entire album and just really see. But it's stuck between that. I added that Postal Mond Clarity and Egg.
Hold on.
Clarity.
Postal
Wait.
Mon. What the fuck is a Mon?
That's how I've been reading it the entire time too. I swear to God.
I didn't know it was post almond clarity or
Yeah,
something.
I didn't know either.
It's a pun on post nut clarity.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yes,
Yeah.
I did
Good to
not
know
get
that.
that.
Come on, man.
Oh my word.
Postal Mon. Oh my god.
I just assumed it was some fucking dumb joke that I just wasn't in on.
No, it's just we're the dumb joke.
Yeah.
Man, jeez.
Yeah.
So I think
Postal.
my feelings about this album can be summed up
EP.
by my least favorite song on here. I still feel is like an 8.5 on 10. I love this front to back. I have played it more times than I can count. I think Post Almond Clarity is probably actually my favorite song on here. There's the delivery of one simple line in there is I've got nothing but class, broken glass, and the way that rolls off, I've gone back and listened to that like 5-second clip so many times. Just because the way it works is just so well. The little like intricate, quirky little sound clips that get thrown into everything. Like there's we talked about the flute. You got the Portal 2 sound effect and the Taco Bell at the end of Absolutely Cranking My Motherfucking Hog. There's just certain like various electronic elements throughout all these songs that really work.
A saxophone.
There's a saxophone, the guitar solo at the end of Egg. The Krusty Krab theme song at the end of Lift Heavy Stone, Make Sad Head Voice Quiet.
I totally missed that.
Oh yeah, it's slowed down. It sounds like a flute. If you go listen to the last like 10-15 seconds of that song, if you like think about it being the Krusty Krab theme song, you'll hear it. There's the Macho Man Randy Savage thing, but it's replaced with a text-to-speech thing of Bilmuri before the breakdown and Floyd in the hard seltzer water.
Yeah, I remember.
God, I feel like everything that Bilmuri does, right? His brand is throwing a bunch of genres together with some quirky sound bites in a way that works. And I feel like this is the best delivery of that concept yet. In a way that... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say another person who comes to mind who doesn't do it as well as Jared Alonji.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is through Boketo. So, or is that Jared Dines?
No,
which one of them owns Boketo?
It's Jared Alonji.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. This just feels like fun. It feels like an artist who sits down, loves what they do, and just gets to create the music that they want to make. And I feel like that's really reflected in this because this is so much fun. Mm-hmm. It's so enjoyable in all of its many aspects. There's something to love that's different on every song that makes every song feel like it has its own identity. And then you get to contrast these stupid title names, which are they're just funny, right? With these heavy lyricism. I mean, let me pull up the thing. He explained on his Instagram.
While you're finding that,
yeah,
I just want to double down on the fact that, like, you can tell he's just having fun making this. Like, the amount of creativity that goes into it is just, it's so clear that, like, this is the exact type of music that he wants to be making.
So, Absolutely Cranking My Motherfucking Hog, hell of a title, is about having to escape anxiety and depression when being overwhelmed by large crowds or people who like give you too much social interaction and you feel like you want to shut down. Midwest Lawn Care Dads Who Smash Brews is about his wife's struggle with depression, inner turmoil, and health issues, and how he hopes she overcomes her mental health struggles. Fluoride in the Hard Seltzer Water is about people who surround you with negative energy and being able to find your own mental escape from those instances. I Seriously Dislike Most Other Humans is about letting go of grudges and bitterness and about having a mindset that benefits both you and other people. It's like that sort of thing where you expect to have all of these funny songs when you look at the titles, and then you get into it and it's this heavy, deep lyricism but it's still lighthearted because you could get done talking about depression and anxiety, and then you hear the Taco Bell like ring at the end of the song, right? I don't know. I think it's genius.
Wait,
I love this album.
Is there an explanation for egg there? I want to hear.
Oh yeah. Egg is about religious manipulation.
Well done. Is that a good way for me to segue into saying that Egg is my favorite track on this album?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no,
the guitar solo in this song is fantastic. I think that's really what makes it stand out to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there is a bad track on this song or on this album. And I honestly, part of me is very grateful that we got this, but part of me is simultaneously disappointed and excited because I feel like I don't know how it could possibly get any better than this. So I'm disappointed because I feel like we've reached the peak of Bilmuri, but I'm also excited because if this is the direction that Bilmuri is heading in, then even if we peaked here, if I get more stuff like this, like Rich Sips was one of my top 10 albums of last year, and I like this 10 times more. If you say EP one more time, I'm going to throw hands. Yeah, no, I don't know. I highest recommend potentially of the year for Eggy Pocket here. Big fan of Bilmuri, big fan of Eggy Pocket. Please go listen to this. Even if you don't necessarily enjoy the music, you'll find something to love in the character that each of these individual songs bring to the album, EP, whatever, as a whole.
EP.
Yeah. Hi, my meetup. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna introduce you to the backside of my hand. All right, I'm gonna write Eggy Pocket album on it.
We're just not going to Canada at all.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to Canada.
Not like we can. America fucking
yeah,
sucks.
that's right.
You have to come here, Jacob.
Oh man.
I think you have really said almost anything that could be said about
Yeah,
this.
sorry. I really like this.
No, that's good.
Like,
It is very good.
I have nothing else to add, really. Egg is a fantastic song. Post Almond Clarity is catchy and fun. And
So we ready to
everything
pronounce
else is...
Postal Mon Clarity?
Shut up.
Everything else is
Introduce you to
good.
back my hand there.
Everything else on the album is good, but hasn't stuck out to me as much as I hoped it would. And that's why I'm going to leave it.
I've already said everything I need to say.
Yeah.
Before we go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah. I just...
Rabbit hole.
away.
Citizen soldier.
Let's wrap up this saga, okay?
Yeah.
We've talked about this band every month, every single episode of this show so far.
The only two tracks they did not put out was the closing track, The Cage, and Make Hate to Me.
Let's wrap it up.
I think the album is good. It's definitely a good collection of singles.
That's a great way to word it. I think
but
this album is more a collection of
it's
singles than an
a
album.
collection of singles that kinda. But no, you're right. There is no cohesion to this actually being an album. There's nothing wrong with all these. I think some are a bit more weak than others in terms of like replayability. But it's good and they do good work, but I wish there was more cohesion to it. I wish there was like an actual story being told throughout these.
The cohesion is in the lyricism, where the name of the album is Down the Rabbit Hole, and you have the emotional elements I'm not even gonna say mostly, in every single song. There is a very emotional message in every song here, but there's nothing that ties it together. There's nothing in the ordering of the songs that tells an emotional story. They're all sad emotional songs, and I feel like that's all that I can really take them for. And I was hoping that there was gonna be more of a connection between them when listening to it from top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm wondering if part of that is because we were already exposed to so many of these songs
I
before.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's also why it was kind of hard for me to go back and listen to this, just because I've heard all of these so many times. Like, I've heard Sacred probably more times than I've heard any track of this EP put together.
Yeah, I don't I don't necessarily know if it would be cohesive if we hadn't already heard all the singles, but I feel like it would almost be better for us to have that perspective of maybe 3 singles or no singles at all. We go into this album, we might feel a little bit better about it than if we'd already heard all the material.
Yeah, I feel like if I was going into this blind, maybe 3 singles and then the album, I feel like I would like it more and probably give it a bit more pronunciation, at least to the tracks themselves. But because we've already heard these before, they just stand out more singles more than an actual album.
Yeah.
In saying that, most of the songs on this album are good.
Oh no,
some of them are even great. Like I think
maybe just one miss, and that depends on the time of day.
Yeah. Sacred, the lead single, is still my favorite song off of this album, bar none.
Easily.
But then you've got other songs like Gunshot Lullabies, Mess of Me, and I think Forever Damned are some other standouts here, which we've talked about in previous shows.
Because we haven't talked about it yet, The Cage is also a good one, and Make Hate to Me is a good midway kind of filler into this album.
Yeah, we spent more time talking about like the structure of this album because we've already talked about so many singles, but we should definitely highlight both of those songs.
Yeah, so the Cage is a good end to the album, where it did feel like a collection of singles, but at the end of the day, it's still really good singles, and this ending track, The Cage, is pretty good.
I almost feel like I would have preferred Sacred as the closer to this album, and put The Cage somewhere else.
Disagree, because then I would have heard the closing track for 9 months. So
yeah.
But like maybe they should have just not released the closing track for 9 months.
They didn't.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like theoretically, if Sacred was the closing track, maybe they should have saved it. Because I feel like Sacred, with the message that it's trying to say in that song, I think that would have wrapped up the idea of Down the Rabbit Hole so much better, where like the entire song is an emotional train ride of, for the most part, sad emotional songs, with Sacred being the one song. There's definitely like at least one other song in here, but Sacred being the most notable song that
messes me.
It's lifting your spirit up. There's some line of like living your last day in the song.
Oh no, you're thinking of Would Anyone Care? Because like the ending track of Would Anyone Care is like I'm thinking of the positive part. No, but like where it kind of sounds similar, like the other Uprising track.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I really do think The Cage would have been better fit somewhere else on this album. That being
said, if you put the Sacred instead of The Cage, and you don't release Sacred, like what track do you release as the first single to like pronounce your band as like this is the sound we're kind of gonna go for? Maybe Gunshot Lullabies.
I would argue. What was the second one they released? I think it was Hope It Haunts You.
Hope It Haunts You. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could lead off with that. In all honesty,
potentially.
But yeah, in saying that, I would have preferred Sacred over The Cage as the closer. The Cage is still a great song. And I don't have too much else to say about it. I haven't listened to it a ton. And then last but not least, there's Make Hate to Me, which I think is a nice hybrid of their acoustic sound and their harder rock sound.
Yeah, I think the chorus on this one in particular stands out to me.
Yep. And that's the entire album.
Yep.
The end of the Citizen Soldier era of this show. Since the beginning,
can't wait to talk about them in Solons next year.
That's gonna be our resolution.
Get me out of this hell, please.
That's the HIVEMIND New Year's resolution, is to not mention Solence in 2021. We'll see how long we can last.
No, they're already making an album for next year. It's too late.
Yeah.
God.
We're definitely getting a song within the first 3 months of next year.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you want to mention about this Citizen Soldier album here?
Nothing that I can think of.
No.
Well then, we're on to our final album of the month, Villain of the Story, and their new album, Bloodshot. it's something interesting to point out that between all of the albums and EPs we've talked about, the Bilmuri album was only 7 songs, and this one is only 8 songs. So we got some very short albums to talk about this month.
Right. Album, right, Jacob?
Exactly.
You know what? I'm leaving the podcast.
Good night, Jacob. See you next week.
I think it's I can see the argument for Bilmuri being an album. I think this one is, or that Bilmuri is an EP. But I would definitely I still consider Bilmuri an album, but I can see the argument for it. Okay,
I don't even want to hear it.
But Villain of the Story is, bar none, it's an album. 8 songs. It runs for like 30 minutes. Let's talk about it. What'd y'all think of this?
I'm curious to hear Jacob's thoughts on this.
So I think the first half of the album is way stronger than the last half.
Interesting.
Okay. I kind of agree.
I'm kind of all over the place on this album, so yeah.
I couldn't get into it.
I still think this band's best song is their Nickelback cover that we talked about last month.
You and your Nickelback, bro.
Their best song is definitely Stuck. 100%.
Stuck is by far the best song. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
easily
by far the best song in this album.
I would say that it's the second best song on this album.
All right.
I am gonna pull.
Okay, tell us why you're wrong.
I'm gonna pull the closer, "Breathe," as the best song on this album.
Okay.
There was some like angelic electronic-esque element at points during this song, and like I had just been battered and bruised by everything else this band had to offer for 7 tracks, and then I get to this. And I don't know why, but I like it looked like something out of a movie because I like zoned out into the distance and shed a single tear the moment I heard that. The moment I heard that like electronic noise, and I was like, "Holy shit! What just happened? Like what is wrong with me? Like what's going on here?" I think that it is a great way to end off an album that is otherwise very in your face, heavy with obviously blends of melody, but that I wish more bands would do this where they give you all of that with lyricism that indicates, deeper undertones than this is just heavy music. And then they ended off with a powerful melodic ballad-like closer that really, this I feel like does it perfectly. I wasn't very high on the album as a whole when all was said and done, but I feel like "Breathe" is one of the better closers I've heard all year when paired with the rest of the album.
Yeah. My thoughts on this, I wasn't as high on "Breathe." I preferred "Something to Feel." It just attached to me better. But by no means is "Breathe" a bad closer to this album. Other than that, I think the one thing I want to mention is that this band is like absolutely like at the limit of how heavy I can tolerate. Like in the vein of like an Ocean's 8 Alaska, Metamorph, when we were talking about that earlier, and I was like, this song's just too heavy for me to enjoy. I think songs like Lab Rat and Burn the Foundation are right up there, if not even heavier. But I still found myself enjoying them to a degree. I haven't had too much of a desire to go back to them, but going through the album, I was enjoying it. Instrumentally, fantastic. And I think throwing a song like "Stuck" right in the middle of it is a perfect break, just to kind of separate everything, give you a moment to pun unintended but intended, give you a moment to breathe in the middle of the album from some absolutely brutal songs. In saying that this song pushed my heavy boundaries, I think "Bloodshot" was heavy, but not at the limit. It was just a really solid metalcore song for me.
I also do want to point out the titles of the tracks. There's definitely like some story going on with it.
Well, can you elaborate? I want to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, so enough is like, well, I'm thinking this in the sense of like being taken, and then Labrat is being experimented on, Bloodshot because you just like awoke from whatever you experienced in Labrat. Stuck is what you've become, burning down where you came from, fully embracing what you are, and finding something to kind of, something to feel, I guess, just to play off that one, and then breathe just because you're finally in the place that you finally feel is normal. That's where I kind of get just kind of analyzing this. I might be over analyzing it. That may not be exactly what they're going for.
Because I remember you we didn't mention this in the podcast, but I remember in the Discord you said something about like the Slaves album.
I never elaborated that due to time, but there was a lot of I spend a lot of time just kind of looking over the album tracks. I was like, is there any deeper meaning? Probably not, but well, it's nice to create a story out of what probably doesn't exist.
To analyze the tracks of an album? Let me talk about Primrose Path by Dreamscape on some other day.
Hey, can you elaborate the story on the title of the tracks of Eggy Pocket?
Oh yeah, dude. Let me go read you the full analysis.
Didn't you already do this?
Yeah. Well, no, what I read you was the abridged version. Like it's actually like a full like note, like a faux note full of stuff. Yeah, I'll drop it in here.
No, but I want to highlight Enough. It's grown on me a lot, especially the end of the song, where it's all like cleans.
In a similar vein to Burn the Foundation, I found myself enjoying Enough more than I expected while listening to the album. Or like it's pushing the boundaries of how heavy I can enjoy, but I wasn't hating it. And I think like maybe not hating it, but it was like when I'm listening to Ocean's 8 Alaska, it's like I'm just not really feeling it. I'm just kind of like I'm kind of just listening to it and it's like eh. Whereas with Enough, it's heavy, it's pushing that limit, but I'm still kind of into it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think that this wasn't by any means too heavy for me. I liked it. I don't think I'm going to see myself returning to this outside of Breathe. And Stuck is also on my list of songs to try and get myself into, but
you know what this band reminds me of, and I wish more bands did it. I guess maybe I just haven't looked hard enough, but it reminds me of The Black by Asking Alexander. The song.
Yeah,
and I think I like that sound. Like I guess it is. Is it The Black? I'm pretty sure it's that song.
Yeah, you're thinking of the right song. I mean, just that album in general. I feel like also too kind of like. Oh, go ahead.
I this band it sounds like that, and I feel like a lot of bands, or I want more bands to sound like it more. I don't know how to describe it. Like the vocals, for example. I don't know how. Like it almost sounds like I want to say.
Well, I'm thinking.
I don't know how to word it.
My thing with like Dennis Stoff's delivery in those is that he's kind of like screaming for a lot of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess the comparison that I would draw would be maybe the style of a Sam Carter sort of thing, but they incorporate some heavier instrumentals. I don't know. I know what you're talking about. It's you and I both struggling to put it into words. Yeah, I know. It's a very specific thing.
You know what how I want to word it is like snake-like, but that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Fuck. See, that's the thing. I think that you and I know what we're talking about, but I don't think anybody else has any clue. We're just sitting there like, what are they on about? Like,
I'll just smile and nod.
I'm finding deeper meaning.
Let me propose something. I think it's time we invent a new English word to describe the feeling of the vocals of this album.
It's the Stoff delivery.
Yeah.
There we go. There you have it.
The Stoff effect.
We can come up with the actual like technicalities of the definition of the word later.
Yeah, send that to Oxford.
Yeah,
I don't have too much more to add.
Merriam-Webster, I have a proposal.
I don't have too much more to add to this one. I don't know about you
No,
guys.
no. Overall, definitely, I think at least if nothing else, well, I'd say just check out the closer, but the closer is a lot more impactful when you've heard the rest of the album, so definitely check out the album too, especially because these guys deserve the recognition.
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up for us.
That wraps up the month of November.
Hey, would you look at that? We hit under 3 hours. We're doing good at this.
So I'm going to filibuster for the next 30 minutes.
We're going to talk about the next week.
Yeah, since we're at the end of the episode, I guess if you've made it this far, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed. But stay tuned because we've been doing this since March. And the next 2 episodes are going to be reviews of everything we've talked about on the show, plus February and January, which we didn't get to talk about. And I'm really excited for what we're all going to come up with these lists.
Yeah,
because when we're discussing these month by month, there's going to be the highs and the lows. But when you're doing an awards show, you just get to praise everything. Except for when, except for like
the 3 categories where we shit on bands, but you know.
No. But in general, it's like everything that we're talking about is something that we're all passionate about for one reason or another. Yeah. And I think that's just going to be awesome to be able to share it. So I'm really excited for it. If you want to keep up with it, I'm going to show the social media again real quick at HIVEMIND_radio on Instagram and Twitter. Go follow us there for updates on when the show is happening, when my radio show is going to resume in the spring next year. I'm now home on winter break, so radio show is done until then. But yeah, go follow on social media to keep up with what we do here, because we got some cool content coming up in the future. And,
if you're also looking for recommendations for new stuff, I since October 2nd have been doing just daily track recommendations of every single one, trying to do a different artist, and I'm gonna try and see if I can get that through December. I still haven't done bands like Normandy, Slave, and all them, so keep an eye out for that because there's definitely some like lesser known bands.
Go follow him at QuillJ1 on Twitter. Fuck the rest of us, we don't make good tweets.
I noticed that specific.
Follow me on Twitch. You have to follow me on Twitch.
You technically have to hear our voices live. But I noticed that specifically. I meant mention that specifically, just if you're looking for stuff to listen to, because I try and vary it up.
I don't know what else there is to talk about here at the end of the show. Is there anything you guys that we haven't talked about in this show that we haven't been able to mention in previous shows because we've run so long? Ooh. Anything else that you guys kind of want to mention since we got a couple of minutes just free time here at the end?
You know, it's funny that we have like free time finally.
Why did you say that? You're going to give him 30 minutes.
Well, no. I'm saying I think it's interesting that we have free time finally, and then I like don't have anything to say. And I always have something to say when we're about to go over and we have to cut it short. But now that we have spare time, I'm just sitting here like, no, I think we covered everything.
You know what? It's fucking Christmas time. Go buy band merch. Go support bands so they could get back out on live, so we can go see them live again next year.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I ordered myself a Half-Hearted shirt and CD on the Black Friday sale. It shipped out.
Oh, that merch was so tempting.
It shipped out today. I'm hoping it arrives in a few days.
I have the Traceless long sleeve. I have a I Prevail shirt, and I think I also ordered a
I Prevail definitely needs your money.
Yeah, they do.
Grammy-nominated band I Prevail really needs that cash.
Look, if you splash blue and red on a t-shirt, I'm gonna take it. All right.
Yeah, they got some clean ass merch.
All
I'm not gonna lie.
Time to open up some MS Paint real quick. I'm gonna splash some red and blue.
HIVEMIND merch when.
That's right.
Yeah, this shirt is called Epileptic Seizure.
One thing I do want to mention.
How on God's green earth did Epileptic Seizure remind you of something to talk about?
No, the merch, not you, not you, Derek. I ignore you. But thank you guys for fucking 100 views on the last one. Like, holy shit!
Yeah,
that was a shock. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
I think me titling last episode "The Breakdown Goes Boom" on a fucking whim hit the YouTube algorithm different.
That's fine. That's fine.
But still,
as long as it works.
100 views is like kind of one of the first milestones for us, and it's only up from here.
is
So,
only up from here.
Really appreciate
So,
everybody who listens. truly.
I've got some aspirations to take the season further, and I think all of us do next year going into 2021. So thanks for all the support once again.
I don't see this stopping anytime soon unless we get tired of each other.
We've been doing this time, like,
And how many more times Jacob calls the Bilmuri album an EP? That's what this is been on.
I thought you were gonna bring up Brick Wall again.
Oh no! I can forgive Brick Wall.
Can you though?
Eggy Pocket being an EP is unforgivable.
I think that's it. I think that's all we got.
There's one more thing I wanted to mention. In ordering the Half-Hearted, Long Sleeve, and CD, I'm trying to build up a CD collection of some of my favorite albums, just to like support some of my favorite bands. And also, I kind of just think it'd be a cool idea to like have a shelf in my room of a bunch of my favorite CDs of a bunch of bands I listen to. And I would do vinyl, but vinyl is expensive, and CDs take less room. So
yeah, I know that. I've got my little whatever it's called.
how many Afterburner vinyls do you have?
I don't want to talk about it.
You may have just ordered a new one because of me. I'm sorry,
dude. You can buy things that you can hang on the shelf, so that you can put CDs and CD covers in. They
can make wallpaper out of the amount of Afterburner vinyls you have.
Yeah. I own way too many. It's kind of a problem. I think I have 7.
Jesus.
And
you ordered the gold one that they only made like 50 of.
Yeah.
I think we're dragging it on a little bit, guys.
Yeah, now me mentioning my CD collection that I want to get for Christmas is what I wanted to end on. So, that's going to be the end of the November recap. Stay tuned for our top 10 albums and other awards coming soon. And the December recap will be at the start of 2021 in January next year. That's what we got.
Spoilers,
planned.
it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, December's already been a crazy fucking month. I'm gonna leave it on the note that I think December 4th in its entirety has outdone the entirety of November. And
maybe
it's close. It's close. It's definitely close. But yeah, I'm gonna end it off there. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in a couple weeks instead of in a month from now for our reviews at the end of the year. Thanks for listening.
Yes,
Have a good one.
See ya.